I'm going to start by introducing everyone, and then yeah, we'll move on. First, American Nacho. American Nacho, thanks for being back. How are you today?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm doing okay. I drank a lot of beer and played a lot of Rock Band last night, so I'm kind of hungover, but I'll make it. I'll survive. Okay, first world problems. I'm Nacho. I stream. I play video games. My Rock Band, Rocket League, Rock Band, League of Legends, whatever. I like to play video games, and I've jumped into the politics arena here in like the last like year. So yeah,
You're a little
just love
quiet.
being on.
Just so you know, Nacho, you're a little quiet.
I'll try to move this or something. But yeah, you can find me on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all the socials. I'm not great at keeping up with the other social media, but I try to stream almost every day. So, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much. Next, let's go to Zizzle. Zizzle, I don't know who you are at all, but nice to meet you. Tell me and the world about yourself.
My name is Izzle. I am a political streamer and just started. So a little new to the game, but trying to get myself out there.
Okay.
Political stance. Right, right conservative.
Right, conservative. Oh, all right. Well, we always love having more conservatives on the channel. I don't know anything about you, but as long as you are conservative, well, then you are you're worth your weight in gold.
You're a good individual by
Yeah.
default.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, seriously, for being here. Hello, Mark Murda. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Hey, if you could tell the audience about yourself.
Yeah. I'm a right-leaning libertarian. I found out recently somehow. I don't know. I like to box on my spare time and stay in the gym. I do play video games. I'm not really that much of a streamer. But besides that, I'm a very simple, straightforward person.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. I'm gonna have to save that one for later. Smug, how you doing? Smug, one of my great mods who does a whole bunch for the channel. Someone we're very appreciative to. Smug, how are you doing today?
Oh, doing all right. You need to do an intro. I guess so. I'm Smug Pug Chat. You know me. I usually ban or mute a bunch of you fuckos. But I still love you. But yeah. So like right now, I'm political. I'm not a streamer, but you see my name fucking everywhere. If you're anywhere between high to mid tier political streams, you'll see me. And I'm currently getting my MPA in public administration.
Let's go.
With a degree with public policy, and so like if there's any like later down the road, my special emphasis that I put is basically not only just my policies, but how to actually implement them in reality.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks so much. Next we have a so we might have to replace that one person. Next we have a person who's quite well known to my audience, who's been around a bit, and we always appreciate them being here. How you doing, Ninetales?
I'm good. In fact, I'm very good. I wasn't really going to do a bombastic entrance like I normally like to just be low key at the start and then wow people with my performance. But I'd like to announce that by sometime next week, fingers crossed, but it can't be later than 2 weeks from now, I will be streaming. I'd love to give a huge shout out to Katarana for help hooking me up with the graphics card so I can finally get that done. I will be posting a link. I didn't have it ready in my clipboard, god damn it. But I will be posting a link to a charity she wants people to donate to. It's a Black Legal Defense Fund, excuse me. And yeah, you can catch me at twitch.tv/Ninetales I'm going to be doing morning streams where I'm going to cover the headlines, do some North American weather, sorry, Europeans. And I'm going to get into some sort of game at the end of it or something like that, or watch some sort of crazy videos. So follow that. Follow me. Also some science talk, but that will be like once or twice a week, not all the time.
Okay, thanks so much. Next we have Wick, who's been stopping by our channel a whole bunch lately, and we've definitely appreciated having them, especially since Wick tends to disagree with the rest of the panel, and Wick doesn't mind fighting the entire panel, which is it's a rare quality. People like I've seen people melt in the hot seat, but you seem to thrive there. So, Wick, seriously, I gotta say I do appreciate you.
Well, the thing is, like, all my life, I grew up in a military family. I lived in I was in the military myself, so most of the time I'm around right wingers, very extreme right wingers, and so I'm used to being the leftist person in the room and kind of taking it from all sides. But here on Twitch, I found I'm more center than most of you in most of the cases, so I'm getting it from another side, which is an interesting thing. But I'm very used to being the contrarian in the room. I've recently started streaming. My channel is Death of Certainty. Twitch.tv/Death of Certainty. Give me a follow. I'm very close to affiliate. I think I'm only 1 follower away, maybe 2. But if you could give me a follow, that'd be great if you like what you see. I'm ready to engage with the panelists here in interesting and intellectual debate. And hopefully I can make it fun for you guys too. So glad to be here.
Okay. What was your Twitch? You should put your link in the chat for
Yeah.
people
I'll just link everyone in chat and show myself while the next person does their thing.
Yeah. Everyone, let's hop out our friend Wick, who's really been a great guest on our open panel. Let's help them out. Let's get them to affiliate if we can do that. Yeah, just give them a follow. Give them a follow, please. Link Death of Certainty. It's in chat. Please give them a follow. All right. Next, we will go. Oh boy. All right.
Say my name.
Oh no. All right. We have a guest here who's a former champion, former stream queen. His person name is Hans. HanzOfHarkir. They're back, and we're actually always grateful for them because we do have a good time with this individual. But if you've watched pretty much Primetime Royale, you know why I'm having these feelings now. Go ahead, Hans.
What feelings are we talking about? Hey, everyone. If you don't know who I am, my name is HanzOfHarkir. I'm a pragmatic progressive socialist streamer. I love, improving the material conditions of people. I love dunking on idiots. I love having spirited debates. And as Prime has said, I am the once and future king of this Primetime Royale. I was the stream queen. I should be the stream queen 3 times over, but 2 of those times there was collaboration between the establishment, including Prime himself, to take that title from me. The arbitrary time limits for voting, they took that from me. And really, you're not just looking at the 1-time champion. You're not just looking at the supposed 3-time champion. You're looking at the 4-time champion. By the end of the night, I will have reclaimed my throne, reclaimed my title, because we all know how this is going to end.
Yep. Yeah, Hans is back. But
the problem
again,
is we don't know who's going to win.
Yeah. Well, yeah, without a doubt. I'm extremely excited to have Hans back here in the saddle with us. Okay, so we'll have to go with this few people. Unfortunately, other 2, one had to drop out because of technical issues. The other person has not shown up, so we'll go with this. All right. So let me explain the rules. I haven't done this in a little bit. Let me explain the rules. So we are doing the Primetime Royale where we have rounds. Okay, so this is an elimination style game. We will introduce a topic. These individuals will talk about the topic. They'll do a great job, I'm sure, of it. And then after that round, you at the audience, yes, you will be able to vote. You'll be able to vote as to which of these individuals will get to stay, and then which one, who gets to stay, right? The person with the lowest amount of votes, right? The people there, among the people with the highest votes, they'll get to choose who to toss. Okay, so it might be a little bit confusing, but it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've done this quite a few times in the past, and we'll build it down until we get our stream queen, winner at the end. All right, so people are sending me messages, but can't view them now. All right, so here we go.
So I was about in regards to the other guy. Apparently he's just on his phone. So if you want to put him in, but he won't have video.
Sorry, what?
So basically, he's on his phone. That's why his shit keeps crashing, because he's trying to go on Discord and StreamYards at the same time. And so he's basically seeing if he can just be on voice.
No, we'll just go on with this. All right. Yeah. Thanks so much, though. All right, so moving forward, topic 1, which is I never know what the best topic is to get started. I'm not sure which one's going to split the room better, but we will. Okay.
We got some righties, so like this should be split regardless. I'm so excited.
You never know. You never know. Okay. All right. So we have. Okay. We'll try this one. See what happens.
Just do eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
No. Should the Biden Justice Department prosecute Trump officials for their crimes? Is it worth it to set a precedent that executive crimes won't be tolerated, or is it not worth the effort to divide the country? All right. Oh, I forgot to put the thing at the top, but you have 45 minutes. Go ahead, jump in.
Okay, should we prosecute crimes? Of course we should prosecute crimes. If it can be shown that there is a crime being committed or has been committed, prosecute regardless. Now, that being said, there is some nuance here. If the crime is of a very minor nature, it doesn't need to be publicized so much. It doesn't need to be put out there in the public stage so much. But yes, my general statement is this. If someone commits a crime, they should be prosecuted for that crime. I don't see why that's controversial.
Normally, why someone would say that there's like potential danger of prosecuting two parties that cycle through power is that if you do that, you're going to have a continuous like tit for tat inside of our system that like will essentially destabilize government. I understand the possibility of that, and I still think Wick has a really great point that yes, you kind of have to do this regardless. If we say, oh, we can't prosecute them because they might try and bullshit prosecute us when they get back in power, essentially you're just giving them free reign to do horrible things to you, and you're never going to respond. I think it is absolutely imperative to store people's faith inside our institutions, inside our government, by showing that, hey, yes, if you're corrupt inside government, if you break the rules while in power, you're going to get the book thrown at you either during or at least at the very least after you leave office. If we don't have that, then yes, people are going to constantly keep complaining, yes, why is our government so corrupt? Why do we never hold those in power accountable? If you're anything more than a hack, then you can admit that if we should probably hold people accountable regardless of what side. In this case, the Trump administration was one of the most corrupt administrations, at least in modern American history. Not accounting for Bush, that's not the conversation right now. And it doesn't seem to matter whether you're conservative, or whether you're a liberal, whether you're a leftist. We should probably make sure that our government functions by punishing people who break the law, especially who use their position to break the law.
Yeah, I think the problem might be that we haven't really done this in the past. So it would look like, oh well, this is starting with one administration, then it can be taken out of then it will turn into exactly what you're talking about, like tit for tat kind of thing. I still would be I'm still for if anybody commits a crime, they should be prosecuted. I just think it's a mistake that we haven't done this in the past. So now, no matter when we start doing it, it's going to probably be an issue at first.
Again, buddy. Sure, sorry, Nacho, just so you know, you are still quiet. I don't know what's going on, but you're still quite quiet.
I don't know how to fix it.
Okay, all right.
I think it's Discord.
Sure. Go ahead, Smug.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was saying, no, Nacho, it's just so calm. It's a deep, nice, raspy voice that could read me to sleep. No, but on here, I think a big part of this topic that's kind of seems like being missed is executive crimes. That part in particular. It's I think obviously when someone says, oh, if they commit a crime, then they should go to jail. Yeah, it's kind of a no shit. Yeah, if someone commits murder. However, I think this part of particularly entailing executive to mean that, as some know, there's this thing called executive immunity, which basically says that for various actions that a president signs into law, that he is not actually personally liable. For example, this protects these individuals. So, for example, Obama, he can sign a executive action that's basically, hey, I want to go send this fucking predator over here to drone strike this area to kill. Well, we have these 5 specific guys. Now, if that mission ends up killing 10 or 50 people, he's protected because what he signed was only for that 5. And so it means that you can't just go oh, well, now he's a war criminal, and now we will fucking just basically pin all of our woes and all of the negative actions of a particular policy, or even just general sufferings that people have suffered in general under a person's term onto that individual.
You know what I
And so,
really hate are war crimes, and what I think one of the best thing to do about war crimes is to hold the people who are in power of making those decisions accountable, and whether or not it's some other country or the next administration, I think doing this would actually make a very good incentive not to commit those sort of things.
How's it?
But the issue though with what I just presented to you is that then literally every single president is going to be going to jail for one thing or another, not because because it's not like a president saying, "Hey, go kill these fucking kids in Africa or go kill these kids in Yemen." No, they're saying, "Hey, I authorize these military airstrikes to take out these specific locations." But if it does not go precisely as like this indicative plan is, then ultimately, I'm not sure how you'd still hold them accountable for it. Like
Great,
now, you
great.
could say like
Yeah,
That's
but-
actually great to me because
but-
with more power comes more responsibility, right? And if all the previous presidents, we can talk statute of limitations, but if all the previous presidents are going to be locked up because that's the president that you get for holding them accountable for their war crimes, okay.
There's some nuance here, though. I mean, you're Smug. You're presenting it as a very binary option. Either we can't punish them for anything they do, or we have to punish them for everything they do. And I think there's some nuance here. If the intent is clearly to do something, and that the law of unintended consequences, something happens that they do not intend, I think there's a place for the executive immunity in that. However, when a president or an executive or anyone in a position of authority intends to do harm, and it can be shown that they're intending to do harm, then either by negligence or any other way, or things like that, then I think there is definitely a case to be made that they should be held accountable. And Hans mentioned the tit for tat thing. I think that's good that we have a tit for tat. Like, if we do crimes, we get punished. If they do crimes, they get punished. I don't see a problem with that.
Wick,
So,
specifically what I was referring
pause just for a quick second, and we'll go to you, Hans, right next, okay? But I just want to introduce a very late entry. With so kindness to volunteer. This is not a person who wasn't previously invited, but jumped in with us. So we thank you for being so kind as to hop up the channel. And this is one of our newer friends, Ugly Pie. Hello, Ugly Pie. How are you doing today?
Hello.
Hey.
I'm good. Hello, everybody.
You can tell the world about yourself. Take a moment to do that if you like.
I'm Ugly Pie. My pronouns are she, her. I am a 22-year-old sociology student with a minor in public health. I live in Canada. I love to tackle conflicts and questions from a medical viewpoint, from a public health viewpoint. And I'm a leftist, and my biggest policy is just harm reduction.
Do me a favor, and well, I'll do it for you. I'm gonna mute you on StreamYard. Unmute yourself on Discord. That's what we'll be talking. Okay? Yeah. All right. So go ahead, please.
Thank you. Yeah. So, like specifically, like to Wick's point, I'm not saying that holding like the one administration after another accountable isn't a good thing. What the argument for the tit for tat is that you're going to have, say, like potential fabrications like against like different parties, right? Where it's like, oh, like, you know, like party A like was extremely corrupt during their administration, and party B held them accountable. In response, party B had like a relatively benign administration with no like massive corruption or anything like that. But there's going to be like some random thing. Like, I wouldn't put it above Republicans to try and like, you know, put impeach Biden over like the Hunter Biden laptop bullshit, right? Like, it's entirely possible that's going to happen. So I think it kind of just goes into the idea of like whether or not we're dealing with good faith actors. And in this case, I don't consider the Republican Party to be a good faith actor. So I don't like not holding them accountable, using all the tools we have to punish bad behavior when we know that they are going to continue to do bad things, and at least from my left-leaning opinion, right? It's like
I do get that concern. I do get that concern. I really do. I really do. But I think that there's a place for perhaps a neutral party to be able to judge these things, and perhaps we should have a more robust way of dealing with these things, so we don't get into that political infighting that you kind of speak of, where they use like impeach Biden for Hunter Biden's laptop, things like that, the ridiculous things. But if we can have a system where we can reform the system to allow us to punish these crimes from a neutral perspective, one that isn't beholden so much to any particular political party that happens to be in power. I think that's a net good. And I think that these fears, while they are justified, there are ways around them. There are ways we can overcome and swim around these obstacles. And just because there's obstacles doesn't mean it's not worth doing.
I completely agree, and I'll focus the rest of the panel so I'm not like dominating time. But how would we have this apparatus, right? Because you can say like, oh, like the different like branches of government are like meant to like maintain order, like hold each other accountable. But in the case of say like even like the courts, like you have like conservative like societies that like like have like lines of conservative judges ready like whenever it's time to go for that sort of stuff. Who's to say that like say like the judges of like laws and corruption, right? Like if there's like this new like organization, if we're trying to like make it like nonpartisan, they're going to have to be for people who like understand legal processes and law. So like I assume they're going to be like taken from like lawyers or judges or like some flavor of that, right?
Well, the question itself is partisan in nature itself, though, isn't it? I mean, read the question: should the Biden Justice Department prosecute Trump officials for their crimes? How about we remove the word the name Biden and Trump? Answer the question: should be yes or no for everybody, correct? And then the next part of the question is it worth to set a precedent that executive? Let's remove the executive and replace it with the word provable. What's your answer?
Yes. Yes, it's worth it.
The only difference that a lot of people would say is that we're dealing with like the reality of a Republican Party that is extremely vindictive, that has in no way like attempting to like follow the rules when it like does not suit them. They bend them to their whim at all points in time. Like whether it's say like them,
the Republican Party is losing here. What do you mean?
When you say that they're vindictive, when you say that they're losing, like
they've lost everything. They lost the White House. They lost Congress.
They lost the White House and they lost the Congress. But like literally 47 like states are like now like trying to put through like a different like bullshit about like a voter new like voter like suppression laws. So it's like yes, they've lost power in certain instances, but they're using the power that they have in other like areas to completely like say like suppress the votes that like kick them out in the first place. They're not good faith actors in this scenario. They're literally saying like, oh, do we lost in terms of votes? Let's make it as hard as possible for like like minorities or people of color or like what have you from voting.
But what makes it harder?
Where are they doing this?
I understand the rhetoric, but what makes it harder?
I'm not treating them as good fake actors in the scenario. And that's why a lot of people are like, we're saying like, oh, there's going to be a tit for tat because I don't trust them to say, oh, hey, if the Biden administration doesn't do anything that's like anything that's like corrupt, right? Because like the like amount of corruption like in the Trump administration was like astronomical. We haven't had like any massive indictments in the Biden administration yet. God forbid if they are there, like I want them to be prosecuted as well. But the issue is that it feels like they're going to fabricate again this. And the reason why we're talking about this, why we're saying like specifically Trump and Biden, is because we know that the Republican Party, at least like the Trump administration, like in modern Republicans, are essentially like an abusive relationship. They're like an abusive ex. They're like, oh, like
hold on, you're moving a little too fast.
Hold on, you're moving a little too
fast. So say what you just said again. Just in kind of like human speak. Like you're going really fast like Sonic.
I understood his point.
In human speak, like I'm sorry, like I'll try and talk slower for you next time. Like
I did understand the point. Let me kind of address it for a minute here. Is that yes, there are going to be bad faith actors. Yes, that's true. But this is the same reasoning Republicans would use to push against welfare reform. They would say things like, "Oh, there are people who are going to abuse the system." Of course, there are people going to abuse the system. That's not what the system is for. We need to have a system in place. And yes, we know it's going to be abused. And yes, we know they're going to be bad faith actors. But that is not a reason. That's not sufficient, in my mind, to stop us from having this discussion or stop us from implementing these procedures.
Yeah, it is kind of scary to think about creating yet another entity that is like separate and not beholden to the government, etc. Like, but I mean, obviously, maybe something does need to change, but.
Well, it'd be beholden to the government there and of itself, but like I guess you do have a good point though, Nacho, of that. Like there is no such thing as being like outside of a political sphere or political partisanship. But like we see within the Supreme Court, like while it can be, while sometimes it's argued that like the Supreme Court is otherwise relatively nonpartisan, there are, however, a plethora of different examples where you can actually see clear lines of political division in an otherwise supposedly unbiased system. So I get that, like where you basically create this other third-party entity that's somehow supposed to resolve it. But I think ultimately the solution is just, again, it's just literally just making these just being more determinative of what crimes you are actually pursuing and which ones are actually the fault of the individual. Like, for example, like Wick, you were talking about like intent to make a crime, but then like, for example, you'd bring up, oh, well, what if they're negligent? Well, negligence is a crime that specifically does not have to do with intent.
I understand that there's a lot of nuance, and I'm not an expert. I'm not a policy walk, but I do think it can be done, is my point.
Yeah, like I think to certain degrees, like I think to certain degrees, we already have the systems in place. It's just that
They're not being
Get-
used.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly
we're not
get
even
over the
bothering
hump of
trying.
actually going through with it, of actually saying, okay, this guy has done it before. Now this guy has committed this blatantly criminal act that we have sufficient evidence to prove that isn't some like down the river harm that was caused from this other policy.
Yes.
Like we know what he did with intent, tried to just as a hypothetical, this person A tried to commit fucking fraud. We know for a fact that he did it with the intent. Okay, now we can fucking go ahead and actually prosecute him
Get 'em.
or her.
I mean, personally, I think personally we live in a two-tier justice system, and let's just be real about it. If by show of hands, how many of you believe that Trump's speech prior to the January 6th incited "quote unquote" an insurrection? Raise your hands. One.
I do.
If it did, yeah.
Well, it wasn't the only. I will clarify. It wasn't the only inciting factor, but it was definitely something he should not have done. And he should be held responsible.
Okay, that's agreeable. Okay, that's agreeable.
I don't know if he should be held responsible in a criminal sense, but that wasn't.
But he wasn't impeached for it, was he not?
That's not a criminal trial.
I understand that. So here's the question now. Now revert the same issue to Maxine Waters. By a show of hands, should she be removed from Congress for her incitement?
Oh, okay. So this
Okay.
hands
down.
I can answer this. This is pretty easy. So there is a difference between being able to cherry pick a single statement that's taken out of context, instead of the overall
statement.
Let me finish, Mark. Can I finish? Thank you. I really appreciate it. So there's a difference between like a single cherry pick line from like one speech of Maxine Waters, as opposed to the concentrated, like with militant precision and militant like message discipline in terms of how the Republican Party and the Republican the apparatus constantly like push this narrative. So
the word "peaceful" to you is inciting a riot, or
if you say it's like Wick already made this point, but yes, is it the only thing? No. Is it one of the potential straws that broke the camel's back on this? And like that's if they're going to have to prosecute something, right? If say like there's 10 factors, right, and only like one of them is like extremely visible, as opposed to like just us watching like 6 months of Fox News coverage, right? We can say that's probably like one of the biggest inciting factors. Like most of the time when like you come up with a problem, you don't like bring out everything. You say, oh, hey, like this is an important factor. This is an important factor.
It appears to be a larger factor, but the reality is that there's 9 other factors, like you just pointed out. Like, I mean,
try to yell, try to speak louder if you could.
I even switched mics.
That's better. It's better when you do that. Yeah.
He has to boost his gain in his Windows sound setting.
But to the
it's Discord. I don't know.
Just real quick to the Maxine Waters point. Maxine Waters didn't incite violence. What act of violence did her words incite? We can point from Trump's words directly to the January 6th incident. Which incident are you pointing to?
What do you mean, which incident? So you mean over the summer and prior to what happened over the summer? When she specifically said, "Get in their faces, get in their faces." If you see them at restaurants, at gas stations, push them out. You don't think that's? I'm not saying it's an insurrection, but you don't think that people.
So you're talking about verbally harassing conservatives, and you're saying that like is the cause of like all of like the like civil unrest that was like happening during the summer. Like, do you realize how devious that connection is?
I mean, let's use the word "get more confrontational" versus "let's go peacefully protest." How can you compare the two and say they're both equally as bad when one says peaceful? It's a instruction to actually act a certain way peacefully versus get more confrontation. We have to put value behind words.
But you're trying to make like a massive false equivalency between like two statements, like or two situations. You're literally saying like, yeah, oh, like someone said bad thing at one time, another person said other thing that could be like that is bad at another time, and we're saying like there's no other context, there's no other like surrounding circumstance or information about either of those two situations that could like really make a fucking difference in like how we should interpret those like those.
My question is, what did Trump say that was so bad when he used the word peaceful protest? How can you misinterpret that and not misinterpret, get more confrontational? I want to know how words have power over you, because it seems to me that the definition of peaceful to you can be somehow altered to be like, well, that could be interpreted as go to the Capitol and break the windows versus Maxine Waters saying get more confrontation.
Let's go to
how can you compare the two?
Let's go to Ninetales and to the rest of the panelists. If you haven't talked, remember this is an elimination show, so we have less than a half hour left, so you should jump in. Ninetales, go ahead.
I guarantee you your argument isn't like convincing any parent who isn't already like heavily biased in your favor. Like people can recognize that Trump knew what he was doing. A, he knew it was about him not getting the votes. He knew that that's what people were there for. B, he said things alongside Rudy Giuliani, of all people, who said
I agree.
way worse,
Giuliani
by
did.
the way.
Yes, Giuliani did fuck
Yeah.
up. I admit that.
Yeah, and Trump definitely didn't denounce those statements. And overall, like it's like that sort of thing where, like, if a parent gets told, like, by a child, like, oh, I didn't do it because of this, and then the parent clearly sees, like, that A plus B equals C, they're not just going to believe the child because it's more convenient for them and they don't have to punish the child anymore. They're going to do the responsible thing if they're a responsible adult.
Okay. Anyone else? Remember, elimination show. You're not talking. You'll probably won't survive.
Dealing with
Oh yeah, I'm just not talking because I'm actually looking through the script. I actually have this, like, the Trump's transcript.
Okay.
Transcript.
Using data? What are you doing? This is
Where-
crazy.
That'll ruin everything. Like,
Because-
I want to anecdote Andy like this. Come on.
I mean,
The whole point of a script.
I was there, so
Because we can-
I use an anecdote.
Sorry,
The people
Zizzle, are
who
you
were
trying
at
to
the
talk?
Capitol-
Zizzle?
I mean,
Please go ahead,
the dude's
Zizzle.
is his
Hold on.
word, so I mean,
Let's give Zizzle a shot. Go ahead, please.
The whole point of a script is that so things would not happen. If Trump stuck to the script, this January 6th, what we saw was never going to happen. No matter what happened, is what happened. It's already in the past. But there's a script for a reason. If you stick to it, what happened, what we saw, wasn't going to happen.
So you would admit that what Trump said off script directly led to the events of January 6th?
Yeah, yes. He said, "Let's
Okay,
walk."
cool.
He said,
Based?
yes.
But we
Yes,
won. Like,
let's
no,
walk
like,
down Pennsylvania Avenue and go support Mike Pence. Is what his direct words are.
I was there. I was at the Capitol.
Yeah. And I was going to say, Mark was there.
I was there before.
I saw live
was there
video footage of what
before
was happening.
Wait,
from him.
were you like one of the people who stormed the Capitol? Do we have like a straight
No.
terrorist
No,
like
I was
on
live
panel?
streaming.
That'd be fucking wild. Like,
No, all cell
Uh,
towers. Once that January 6th bum rush of the building happened, and cell phones didn't work. I was at the very bottom of the stairs, and I was trying to get out because I heard windows starting to break, and that was my cue to get the fuck out of there because I knew, like, Secret Service or something's going to come there and people are going to get busted. I had to push people out of my way to leave. It wasn't.
And weren't you like stabbed or something? Like,
Someone
I thought-
tried to. Yeah, I was wearing a vest,
someone-
but
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
tried to hit me with a poker. Yep.
Well, in all seriousness, I'm glad you survived.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm
I'm
happy-
glad I was
happy
wearing
you're
that.
okay.
to the
Glad I
larger
was-
point, to the larger point between Maxine Waters and Donald Trump. Donald Trump's words directly led to the incident. Could you honestly say that the events of the summer would not have happened had Maxine Waters not said anything at all? If she had just kept their mouth shut, these events would still have happened because her words weren't what inspired those events. The actions of the cops.
But how do you know that?
Inspired those events?
How do you know
Because
that?
We've
like
seen
Trump
it.
is the president and the leader of the conservative movement in America. You're pretending that like Maxine Waters has the level of societal and cultural significance as the
No,
fucking
that's not
president of the
what I'm
United
saying
States.
at all.
No,
No,
that's
no,
exactly
not
what
what
you
I'm
just
saying
said.
at all.
It's
That's not what I'm
really
saying at all.
fucking
She was sitting
ridiculous.
in the
You're
middle of
about
a
to do
mob.
Martin Bailey. Like,
He was
it's
sitting
fine.
in the middle of a mob who was already upset for racial justice against Derek Chauvin. They were already enraged, ready to go to town, and
Yeah.
she didn't have to use those words. Is all I'm
They
saying.
weren't
I'm
talking
not
about
saying that
Derek
she should not have
Chauvin, though.
supported the jury and the
Oh,
verdict.
that one.
I'm saying that she could have used better words, not to say, "Well, get more
She could
confrontation."
have. She could have. I agree. I agree with that. But her
And
words
so-
did
and
not
Trump could have
incite
maybe
the
done a
violence.
little
Is
better
what
as
I'm
well,
saying.
but I'm
Her
saying I don't
words to
believe-
you admitted that the events, the crowd was already enraged. The crowd was already ready to go. The crowd was going to do what
So
it
why
was
put
going to
gasoline
do,
on the fire?
regardless of what she said or did not say. And I do not think you can make that same argument about the January 6th incidents because Trump gave tacit permission to his followers to do what they did.
No,
He
that
may
is
not have
incorrect. I'm
intended
sorry, I
to.
can't agree with
He
that.
may not have intended to, but it was negligence. It
Okay,
was
so
negligence.
what the words? What you have to listen to the words. I understand the results, and I understand that Trump is not your guy. I get it, right? We understand that, and that's okay. I believe you should have your opinion to not like him, and that's fine. That's what
And you
America's
should have
about.
your opinion to like
But
him.
we
That's
can't
That's
sit
not
here
what
all
we're
of a
talking
sudden just
about, though.
take
Like,
a speech. And I agreed with I believe it was Ninetales. I agreed that Giuliani, when he said combat by trial, that was bad. Like that word combat could trigger somebody going nuts. But I was there. Did you see me breaking windows? I heard the entire speech. I was there on the grass. We can't
I
hold.
do have a
can't
question
hold
about
someone
what was said,
accountable
though.
making a statement, especially if he's actually clear and saying we can go there, make our voices heard, and we will do it peacefully. We are the party of law and order. Now you have a bunch of schmucks that decide to be like, fuck what he said. We're going to go balls to the wall through the window.
I would like to point out the months and years of work that Trump put in before this happened, putting doubt into the democratic system, putting doubt into like the minds of his followers, and like amping them up and emboldening them to do this. It wasn't just the one rally that led people to this.
Fair enough. I don't think he should have been held criminally responsible. I do not think he should be held criminally responsible. However, politically responsible, which was the impeachment, I do think that should have happened. And
yes, I agree with you, Wick, on that.
Okay, so I have a question about what I think I heard Mark quote something he said at the speech. He said, "Go follow Mike or go march with Mike Pence down Pennsylvania."
I'm not the one who said that. I didn't.
Did he actually say that at his speech?
I didn't mention Pence.
Well, okay. Well,
so he's talking about Mike Pence while they're literally saying kill Mike Pence. I find that unbelievable that he wouldn't know.
We can hear you, Nacho. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Discord had to update.
I wasn't the one who mentioned Pence. Somebody else needs to jump in and address that.
Okay, sure.
So it's like I know you you can like cherry pick like the smallest parts of his speech where he's like, oh, like do it peacefully, but then the other ones are like the Democrats are like, if they get to vote on this, you're not going to have a country anymore. Like when you if you pretend you're like, oh, like there's like a sentence or two in there where he's like, hey, like we must stop the radical left. They're taking over. They're becoming communist. Everything is like the American world is going to fall apart. And then you're like, yeah, but do it like peacefully, bro. Like when you're like whipping them into like a fucking frenzy. Like, do you really think that that you're like, oh, like it's like the old meme where it's like I made someone I don't want that's like TOS stuff. It's like it's like sucking a dick and saying no homo. It's like I didn't mean
that's fine.
But like specifically it's like no, it was pretty gay and like that's totally fine. Like I'm bi everyone, by the way, right? I have privileges. But specifically like you can't pretend that it's like a disclaimer at the end where it's like this medication might cause death and bleeding and like all sorts of stuff and you're like, oh, I mean we totally told you about it. It's like, but did you though? The majority of like what your statement was like inflammatory bullshit about like how like the Democrats are communists and like they're overthrowing like the values of the United States of America. Like don't fucking pretend it's not.
I mean, but that would work if it wasn't for the fact that they were actually already like there at the building.
Okay,
too.
Nacho,
that's
you guys
also
don't mind.
the problem with that too.
Off this quick little piece. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we are going to walk down. And I will be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want. But I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. How the fuck is that not a call to action?
What are you talking about?
That's after
you have to be strong.
His direct speech.
Tell me when you go to a football game, people are
gotta watch out. 3, 4, 5, 6. After these 10 fucking paragraphs of citing conspiracy theory after fucking conspiracy theory, that keep in mind that you have already conceded that he's been citing for months prior to this event, pushing off these conspiracy theories, and now he's actively saying, "Hey, go down there, don't be weak." Go down there, show strength.
I mean, it's definitely inflammatory, and it's not rhetoric. It's definitely a catalyst, but the building was already getting broken into before the speech even ended.
So he was, I was on
like a mile. It's like a 2-mile walk over there.
Let's go to Ugly Pie and then Ninetales. Ugly Pie, then Ninetales.
One of the quotes that appeared in the impeachment trial that Trump said was, if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Yeah. I don't understand how that can be read not as an incitement of violence.
Okay, go to congressional debates where they're debating back and forth and they use the word fight all the time to describe to politically fight.
But do
you think context matters in any way, shape, or form? Like when there's a massive rally and
so context
Wow! Oh, that's
context
really
matters as to like the timeline of events that happened.
We literally asked you whether context matters, like in the presence of a speech, and you're like, well, I guess Congress doesn't matter. That was a really great fucking rebuttal there, sir. It's like I'm just curious. Like,
You used the word
why
cheer.
are you constantly like flipping and twisting yourself into pretzels to defend this? Because like it's extremely indefensible. And like I get it. He's your guy, right? I don't want to stop you because it's your guy. But like, what the fuck?
And I'll be fair here. Like, should Maxine Waters have said to get more confrontational? No, I agree. That was a stupid ass thing. You know, it was
Agreed.
stupid. But like,
And you see how we can say that?
Equatable?
Like,
no, fuck no. It's not equatable.
And to Nacho's point that the violence was already going on, yes, that's another reason he should not have said it. The violence was already started. He
could have helped
adding
stop
fuel
it if
to
he
the
had
So
said
pretty much
something.
just so pretty
Yeah,
much
but the
because of
people
that
who were
happening,
in
he literally
were-
just
were
lighted it
in. That
and
was like
just
a
lit it
separate-
more.
I can agree that it was inflammatory. I can agree that it's really shit rhetoric, and like it's probably not a good thing. And even previously, I think a better case, if you wanted to point to something that could even be potentially against the First Amendment, as far as like inciting violence, when he said something, he basically like hinted at like Hillary Clinton's like assassination. So like I don't really give a shit about Trump. Like I call myself like a progressive Republican. I'm trying to move the party away from like the fucking Trumples and shit like that. So I could give a fuck less about Trump. I just don't know if it was actually legally a violation of the law. I guess that's where my
it was
contention, I guess.
politically, but it wasn't punished through the law. It was punished through a political action, and that is the point: is that there was a reasonable and I think proportional response to his words and holding him politically responsible. Now, if it had transitioned to something legally responsible, I think he should have been able to be held legally responsible. And back to the subject at hand of the executive privilege and things like that, executive immunity, I think it's called. I think we need to adjust that. I think we need to adjust that because it's causing a situation where we cannot hold politicians, because they are in a class above us, to the same standards that you would hold me, Ugly, Ninetales, Smug Pug, HanzOfHarkir, Mark Murder, Nacho, Zizzle, and Case.
So I feel like I'm really beating a dead horse at this point, but I wrote these points down. I might as well say them. First of all, regarding what Maxine Waters says, trumpets are fine. They're perfectly okay. Nobody like has murdered them or assaulted them or anything, at least not from the norm. Also, one of his quotes are, "We will not we will not back down. We will not concede." And in absence of him ever saying that you should stop when at violence, which he clearly didn't, otherwise his fans probably wouldn't be doing that. Doesn't that kind of just open up the gateways for the slippery slope of doing what they did there at the Capitol? Not only that, but I take huge issue with the idea that Secret Service didn't know what was going on at the time and wasn't keeping him in the loop. That's just bullshit.
We have 15 minutes left on the round, just so you know. 15 minutes left, so make sure you get your points heard. Beyond that, so the question was not specifically on the rally, the January 6th rally. It was so Trump's crimes in general. So if the Biden administration...
Sorry, could we actually like bring it back? I think like Wick like a really good.
Oh, let me finish my oh, sorry. Let me finish what I'm saying. Go for it. So the Biden administration, if they determine that there's something that could be prosecutable, right? For instance, not paying taxes is one thing, right? Or not just the Biden administration. For instance, it could be the New York Attorney General Letitia James, who's been going after Trump quite doggedly. If they find something, right, is it worth it to do these prosecutions, and knowing that there will be a backlash in terms of the country, in terms of people maybe becoming more divided? Is it even if a crime has been committed? Should we even bother going after it, or is it important that we do that? Go ahead.
I think it really ultimately depends on what instances we're talking about, because I think everyone will agree, like, there are some instances which may otherwise have been crimes, but otherwise be seen as petty, and then there are more like larger profile ones, like for example, the legality of like withholding U.S. funds to Ukraine in exchange for the quid pro quo incident with Ukraine, where Trump was actively trying to get Ukraine to start their own foreign investigation on a U.S. politician to get dirt on him.
And it's not even
didn't
and
Biden
Ukraine
do
shouldn't
some
even
kind
be
of
looking
thing, like,
into a U.S. politician.
withholding funds from Ukraine at some point too, like similarly?
It
wasn't quite that to that degree, like for that. It was to like get some other.
I'd need a citation for that.
was looking for a change.
I
of
think from the
governor.
standpoint of
Like, and
politicking,
then like, and so like for those ones, I think like those ones there could be that criminal element that's still maintained. However, though, ultimately, I'd imagine like if you want to, if your angle is to basically have Trump basically receive punishment for one of his crimes, then effectively going after the ones that were before his presidency would ultimately be the best bet, and not one while he was presidency where effectively you are basically in this weird fight between executive immunity that the person has within that position and then what is distinguishable from like actual crimes that you can attribute intent to.
Okay, this is where I'm going to slightly disagree
can I
with you.
just say one thing real quick?
Oh, sure.
Like as far as politicking goes, I really think that we should consider winning, and like especially if you're a Democrat. And the great thing about this is why I think Biden should definitely find charges, and his administration find charges that they can prosecute and win. But winning would in the courts would lead to, I think, winning votes and getting people out to the polls and making them feel better about a second term. And so I think as far as elections go, it's a very solid approach.
Just to disagree with you slightly, Smug. Just very, just an itty bitty point here.
Okay.
I do get what you're saying about the efficacy of prosecuting a crime that he did before he was in office rather than after. I think it is more likely that we will convict for a crime before their office rather than after. However, I think it is more important, even if we lose, to contest the crimes while he is in office, because it deals with executive immunity, which isn't just a Trump problem. It's not just a Trump problem. This is a problem that we've had for decades. That we've had for a long, long time, and that we will have in the future unless we finally address it. And so, yes, we have to tackle it. And I think Trump is a good case scenario to go after this policy of executive immunity. So to the question at hand of whether Biden should prosecute if they do find these crimes, yes, a resounding yes.
So, like Wick, I just want to ask, right?
Sure.
You bring up a lot of really good points,
Thank
but yeah, awesome. No, you're great. But specifically, right? We have institutions in place that are supposed to like take care of like issues of corruption already. Like we're supposed to already have checks and balances, right? And it seems like in its current state, it's just not existing. A few Republicans who have like called out like what happened like on the 6th, like Liz Cheney, and like I have no love for Liz Cheney. She's fucking like disgusting, right? Like I am not a fan of that lady. But she did say that it was what it was, and she's being essentially excommunicated from the Republican Party because it's like essentially just now Trump's cult, right? And so if we don't have like I don't think even if we like make a new institution, like regardless, right, or like the new like independent organization, right, I don't think unless we fix the existing issues of our government, which is in this case like massive radicalization of like the American right wing. And I'm not saying there isn't radicalization from the left wing. I'm just saying that we didn't try to overthrow the government. So like it's a bit different in terms of scale. So I would say that we have to do something to de-radicalize the majority of Republicans. I think it was like
this is a separate conversation. I agree with you. I agree with you. But this has nothing to do with the topic at hand.
I don't know what topic.
I'm bringing this up specifically because like we were asking like a fix like as to how we're going to do this, right? Because like part of the question is like, is this even possible? Can you hold someone accountable? And
Yes,
like the biggest and the biggest roadblock to that is like one person's own, like the own party of whoever's being accused just completely circling the wagons and excommunicating anyone who like isn't going to like stand in line. I think that's an important part of the conversation. Like, oh, if we have to fix it,
but
and that's why like
when we talk about criminal charges, whether things like impeachment, criminal charges ostensibly, and I know that this is an ideal rather than the actual reality on the ground. The ideal is that we prosecute them criminally so that we do not have that pressure politically, because Liz Cheney and others who voted against Trump in the impeachment trial faces huge pressure and huge backlash now that a judge and a jury would be rather exempt from. And that's why I favor, if crimes are found, to go after them in criminal courts, because you don't have the pressure you talk about. Because you're exactly right. The large way the Republican Party has become beholden to Trump. Not all of them. I don't want to essentialize a group here, but a large majority of them will follow him wherever he leads, even if it is in a legal place. And so you cannot tackle this problem politically, you have to tackle it through the legal system. I think there is a very, and even though it might be divisive, and even though it might be something that in the short term, causes us some issues as a political party on the left, I still think it's worth doing. I'd still do it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think it's going to be painful, but I think it's something we have to do because selective enforcement is just going to further galvanize like the us and them mentality. So I mean, that's already divisive enough.
So we need to do it either way. There's going to be kickback, but we still need to do it.
Mark?
Based.
Mark?
My question is, how many people on the right do you actually think are really radical? Somebody in the chat said 70 million. Do you agree with that number?
No.
I don't think so. There's a difference, right? Do I think there's a difference between, say, like I saw like a poll is like 70+% of Republicans like think Joe Biden is an illegitimate president, right? I think that's horrifying. I don't think they're actively trying to overthrow the government, right? There's a difference between someone who believes conspiracy theories versus someone who's acting on conspiracy theories. I think you have to treat them differently.
What happened in 2016?
No, that's what I'm saying is that we have to treat it differently in terms of rhetoric. Like when I'm dealing with someone who like I know like actively stormed the Capitol, I'm like, oh shit, you're a terrorist. I should probably call the police or like call the FBI or something. But if I'm talking to like like my great aunt who believes like in all the COVID denial and all the conspiracy bullshit, I'm probably just gonna say like, hey, like Aunt M, like please, like I'm trying to save you because like you're saying some insane fucking shit and we're not letting you over for Sunday dinner anymore because you're not vaccinated and my like sister-in-law is immunocompromised. So it's like there's different like levels of how you deal with these people. So like, no, do I think 70 million Republicans are like radicalized like terrorists? No, but I'm saying like the environment is increasingly radicalizing the like more and more of them, where eventually like a larger and larger like percent of that population is going to be the people who like did the January 6th insurrection.
Okay, that's fair enough. And the reason why I asked you for this number is because now I need to shift that to the left. How many radicals do you have on the left that are actively injuring people, killing, burning buildings, rioting?
We have too many.
Too many. Good answer.
Many. There's too many there's too many on the left and there's too many on the right. I think we all can.
I'm trying to make here with that. I'm sorry, Sizzle. The compare and contrast that I'm trying to make here with that is, let's just say on a political level, they are radicalized, where they believe 70%, as you said, believe that the election was somehow stolen, it was rigged, and they believe the Trump rhetoric. But then now you have actually people who are partaking in physical response to radicalization, and they're killing people. I'm not saying they're going out and mass murder sprees, but people have died. Police officers have been shot. Cities, blocks have been burned down. Federal buildings have been cocktailed. I mean, where's the concern really? Where should it be? Should it be toward the people
anyone who engages in violence against other groups without it being self-defense or things like that? Anyone who engages in violence against, and as understandable as it may be, as understandable as I might find rioting and looting, I understand, but they still need to be held accountable for what they do. If they break a law, they should be held accountable for it, and right or left. Right? I get a lot of kickback. I get a lot of kickback. So I get a lot of kickback.
Thank you for saying that. I just needed to hear it because, I'm not saying that I partook in other panels, but I've seen other panels where some leftists, right? I can't say everyone. I can't put you all into this one jar and say you're all the same, right? That's terrible. That's stupid mentality. But they justified the violence. So at what point do we have to worry about more of those type of people coming after people that are not like that, like to the right?
Which violence are you talking about exactly? Because like everyone tends to talk over me, but I'm actually one of those people who can justify some of it.
Yeah. So the fear that people live in for political ideology?
Ninetales?
Yeah, I think whether or not the violence is justified depends heavily on the circumstance and who was doing it. We don't always know who was doing the violence, so we can't say if it was people from that community or not, and that really muddies things. But that also means that we don't always know that it was always leftists doing it either necessarily, so we can't always attribute this to leftism necessarily. Black Lives Matter isn't inherently leftist either. It just aligns with leftist values and intersectionality for the most part. And since the right wing is pretty much anti-intersectional, it's very hard for Black Lives Matter to have any place within that side of the party politics. But then again, I wouldn't expect everyone in BLM to vote Democrat either, or even vote at all. So it's impossible to lump BLM in the way that you're doing with all these things. And like a lot of rioting and stuff like that comes from people who have tried to do change and stuff like that. And then when it turns out that they weren't listened to and that they feel like they don't otherwise have a voice, which is actually what BLM often says. I don't think that's the case for the January 6th rioters. That was just sheer entitlement at play.
I think a big part of it, so I think a big part of it is like I kind of disagree with you, Mark. I'm not sure if you're necessarily alluding to this, but like this kind of like equivocation of like fringe right and fringe left, as if they're like the same type of monster. Like I mean, like these are entities that act while both can act violent, their reasoning is completely different and their methods are completely different. And like for example, even if for example, even if you want to go with, oh well, this left wing group destroyed more buildings than the right wing group ever has. Well, that's when we get into looking at like, while we both can agree, like if you engage in a crime, yeah, you should be punished. However, though, I can still say like, well, this burnt down building is still more justified because it's over frustration about
but why do we even have
race
to
being fucking killed, as opposed to this other side that is engaging in lawful action because of a conspiracy theory. And the reason why you look at why they're doing it is fucking important to understand. So you can actually backtrack to see if there's any actions that were put in place previously that were trying to instill this change. To where, for example, other groups, there have been multiple attempts to try to change their material conditions before that have not been answered, while this other group is literally a fucking conspiracy theory because we didn't get our way with something.
So my question is, though, so then answer the question, do you on some level agree with violence?
No, that's not the question. You can say, I mean, like, so if I say like, if I'm okay with self-defense, then like, yeah, I guess like on some level I'm okay with violence. Like if I punch somebody, you probably need to know like the context of why I hit them. Right? Were they mugging me? I'm not talking about trying to kill my family, like, or do they just like step on my toes at a bar, right? Like when you talk about like the difference in violence, you're saying like, oh, you're okay with violence because like you support BLM and like a BLM protest caused property damage. It's like, yeah, I don't like property damage, but if you're pretending, like again, this is something that I find like right wingers like don't seem to understand. You always seem to say like, oh,
doesn't understand. You just cut him off in the middle of his.
Can I finish? Like action X is bad. Yes, most people say violence is bad. Like in general, violence is bad. Like property damage is bad. I agree with you. I don't like it when people get hurt or when property is damaged. But that's not the only thing that matters in the context. And this, you always try and do this where you try and separate contexts from actions. And you say like, oh, hey, someone did X. And like in two situations, someone punched somebody. And in one situation, they were fighting for their life and trying to defend themselves. And another one, the other person was like aggravatedly trying to assault somebody. And you're saying, oh, they both hit somebody and punching is bad. So like, can you see why both of them are bad? It's like, no.
This is not what I'm talking about, Hans. We're just talking about political violence to get your political ideology and your point of cross and using violence to achieve it. This is what we're talking about.
Political violence.
I'm not talking about karate class where I don't believe somebody should kick each other in the face with pads on. Of course, some violence is fun to watch, right? We watch MMA, we watch football, we watch boxing, right? On some level, there's some violence that we actually enjoy watching. We're okay with. We even pay for it in some instances to watch it, right? But I'm talking about using politics, something that our words are supposed to make changes. Not our hands, not with weapons, and not burning down buildings where, God forbid, who knows who's inside. That could have been right wing doing it. And let's be honest, if it was right wing, if it was the Proud Boys or what are the other guys, the old people with the guns, not keepers.
Well, it's funny how the right wing was the one threatening politicians.
Change it from
sorry. Okay. All right. Hey. Hello. Hi. Great. That's the round. Thanks for that. All right. To my audience members, what's going to happen now is we are going to engage in a bit of voting. All right, you at home, you'll be helping deciding who moves on. Right, I'm going to put a link in chat. I will put a link in chat. It'll have the names of all these amazing individuals, and you're going to vote for among them who you want to keep. Right, not who you want to kick, who you want to stay on to the next round. Right, so you can vote for whoever you found the most interesting, whoever was the most funny, whatever your criteria is, doesn't matter. You'll be voting for who you want to stay, not who you want to go. All right, or which one of these individuals you want to keep. Right, your favorites. So I'm going to put this link in the chat. Right, and I will be 5 minutes. This part is important. This part is very important because they'll be bitching and moaning afterwards, because there always is. There'll be 5 minutes, and only 5 minutes to vote. Right. Get your votes in now. not later, right? Once the 5 minutes are up, I don't give a shit if you voted, right? The count is the count. So vote now, not later. All right, I'm putting the link in chat now. And the link in chat now. Everyone, please jump in, vote right now, not later. Vote right this second. Okay, so link is in chat. Link is in chat. Do that voting, and I'll put 5 minutes on the clock. 5 minutes on the clock. All right. And if you've been vote now, yeah. If you've been enjoying these this talk, right, or this show, hit that follow button. If you just came here, hit that follow button right now. Hit that follow button. Because we do this all the time. Not this thing. We do this once a week. But we have content for you 6 days a week. So I don't want you to miss out. Hit that follow button right this moment so you can come back and make sure the notifications are on. I do this all the time. Now, again, vote for these amazing individuals. You have 4.5 minutes left on the clock. Vote right this second. All right.
Well, you obviously want the best bearded man on here to be able to continue making his points,
Vote
and
for
I
the
think it's a very
ugliest
clear.
one.
No, like there's a lot of good beards. Like Wick has
ugliest
like a
one.
solid full. Like Nacho has the great like goatee, and then
It's
like
true.
Smug Smug's crushing it too. Like
I'm trying
I have the
to
great
get-
nothing.
You got good depth. How long did it take for you to like, get that depth in there? Like to get that
Yeah.
connection.
I'm sure if you vote based on beards, you won't get a circle jerk at all.
That shouldn't be your only. That shouldn't be the only thing you vote on, but it is a factor. Let's not lie.
Vote on your favorite shirt. Actually, I think that'd be fun.
But to answer the question, I think it was addressed to me how long it's taken to get this fullness, this sickness. When did lockdown start?
Nacho,
Oh, sorry, Nacho.
March
sorry.
20.
Man,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
but he doesn't want to answer me apparently.
Sorry,
Wait,
what?
what happened?
Trying to see how long it took you to get that thickness on that side there.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Yeah, no. All right, fine. Wick,
Throwing it
how
in
long have
brother
you, Wick?
quick.
You're talking to me more.
Well, like I said, how
Sorry.
long have lockdowns gone? That's when it started,
It's a
and I
year.
just I've trimmed it a little bit. I've adjusted it, but
Yeah,
that's where we are.
Like 14 months.
14 months, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
just over a pregnancy, yeah. Like I got some patches though. I gotta fix. I gotta get that road bean plan.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this discussion a lot. I think
Yeah.
I think we all
I
have
have
pretty good
too.
takes.
This is
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, good.
I'm having a great
Even though I didn't talk much, I did have fun.
American
feel like we
Nacho,
made-
I appreciate your food name.
Thanks.
I feel like we
It's a-
made
it's a
lemons out of
family
lemonade
thing,
with that.
All my brothers and sisters also game. There's 8 kids in my family, so we're all like some type of nacho. There's like
I think I heard you
American
say
nacho,
that on a different
Hunting
stream
nachos.
before.
That's
Yeah,
great.
there's a bunch
I
of
love
stuff. It's
that.
pretty awesome.
Again, to my audience, now's the time to be voting. We have
Vote
2 minutes
Hans.
left on the clock. 2 minutes left on that clock. Link
You never
is
wanna
in
see
chat.
Wick
Oh,
in
damn
here.
it.
If
You
you
know
for
you want to
Nacho.
see Wick.
I had
No, you
technical
know you want to vote
difficulties.
Hans.
Let's
Get
Eric.
Hans.
here.
Ugly pot.
Change it.
Ugly.
Hans, I voted for you just to keep you here with me.
Yeah.
It has happened many times before,
right.
where someone who
You should totally vote me
because their fan base decided not to vote
a
in
little-
time.
I didn't do this to flex. I did it because I was too hot.
It's
But
happened.
Now,
It's happened
Yeah,
many times
right,
before
Hans.
because people's fan base did not vote in time. Once I
that's
look at the
discrimination
vote
against my fan
after
base.
once I look at the votes after the timer had gone off, they might have been saved from elimination. That happens. It happens. So look, if your person gets eliminated because you didn't vote in time, that's your fault, not my fault. We have a minute left on the clock. Vote right now. Don't wait. Vote right this second. Go ahead.
That's why I
Everyone
never
who
make
has
it
to vote,
around,
vote, damn
because,
it.
you know, my stream's on a 5-minute delay, so like all my 200 fans, they don't get counted. They never get counted.
Yeah, I'm going to say this much. If you're a stoner, vote for me. I'm the most dedicated stoner on this panel.
Does anyone want to challenge that?
You know what?
I don't smoke. It's just
Whoa! Don't make me bust out the constant.
it's like,
Ninetales, I'm all with that. Trust me.
Yeah, but I'm the only one who does it on
If
stream.
I could find like Lucky
I mean,
Charms,
ask Wick.
like,
I just went
Indica,
on
I would eat it all day.
It's true. It's true. Ugly made a good showing on my stream earlier, where she had some pretty base takes. that you should keep her on too. I'll agree. Ugly and Wick. We're gonna collude here and combine our fan bases, which I
Yeah,
think are non-existent at this point. But we're gonna combine our fan
I don't
bases.
exist. I just exist.
So we only have a few seconds left. If you have not voted, now is the time to do it. Jump on in. Once the 5 minutes are up, I honestly don't give a shit. No more complaining at me. Okay. So,
I'm coming in with the stoner vote.
yeah.
Blows us all out of the water. It's
Oh,
too
boy.
good.
Yep. The time is up, so I'll refresh, and I won't refresh again. So if you voted late, that's your problem, not my problem. Okay, here we go. Refreshing. Okay, interesting. Vote tally here. All right. Okay, so at the top, and I think they've been at the top before, but one way or the other, at the top, Ninetales coming in strong. Hold on, yeah, Ninetales, nice work. Let me move you up here at the top, winner circle, right? That's where you belong. Nice work, Ninetales. Ninetales has been putting a lot of work into this stream, so I hope for the best for them. But good work, Ninetales. Okay.
Congrats, Ninetales.
Yeah. Next is. Oh, God damn it. Hans.
What do you mean by God damn it? What do you mean by God damn it, Prime? What is it? What is it, my friend? I was like, man, I had 0% of the stoner vote, and I still came this close. Like my power, it's right there.
Oh,
like,
Alright,
not
anyway.
American Nacho, I'm the American Dorito.
Okay, alright.
Can you not
Oh,
see?
Okay. Well, life is unfair to me sometimes. Okay. But we'll move on. We'll endear. So, and next, the third person is Mark Murder. Mark, thank you for it looks like people are happy to have you here, so that's good.
You appreciate the votes, and I appreciate everybody on the panel.
Okay, yeah. So, at the bottom, oh, the places where you don't want to be, right? Oh boy, it is Wick. Wick, you are second from last. Actually, no. Actually, scratch that. This is okay. All right. So what we'll do, we'll have three at the bottom. We usually have two, but we have two people. Actually, God, we have.
Sorry, I disconnected by
a
accident.
lot of people tied at the bottom. We have a lot of people tied.
Tied for the bottom. Let's go.
Woo!
Okay.
I
All
lobby.
So, all right, hold on. Let me do this. I'm refresh, unfortunately, and see what happens. Did anyone? Okay. We'll put. God damn it. We'll put an extra minute for voting. And
Okay, guys.
yeah, we'll put an extra minute.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
I don't care who you vote for.
man. You can't-
Congratulations, Mark.
Yeah, first of all,
We'll put
the first
one
topic
extra
is-
minute of voting
we all
because
agreed and then we derailed.
we have too many people who are tied, and it would be unfair for me to just pick one. Yeah, guys, among the last four, right? Which one of you guys of them do you want to stay? Now's the time to vote. You haven't voted before. Your vote matters right now. Not many people are tied, and so those people will be up for
Your
elimination.
vote matters like the election.
You did. Yeah, right now we're getting the people who didn't participate in the fucking primaries.
Yeah.
Shit, so now's your time to
If you're
shine.
not voting,
Yeah.
Here's how Bernie can still win. Part 1 of 25. Like, let's.
Yeah. So
We all cried that
if
day.
you guys,
I was there.
if you haven't voted, now's the time. Hey, your vote matters. Vote matters. So don't sit on the sidelines. The ones we're looking, especially for the ones at the bottom, because we got a lot of people who are tied there.
I have contributed much to this discussion. If you want such intelligent, well, I
has.
shouldn't go that route because I don't think they want intelligent takes here. But they might.
Oh.
But if you do want intelligent
Continue.
takes here,
I will
maybe
go on
not.
an epic
Maggie,
rant
You
that
just
you
like,
guys
we all
will
agree
want
on
to
a
listen
person.
to.
Other
you're
people
all
do
so
it.
dumb. Like, like,
Okay, I've moved up.
That goes.
Okay.
oh,
All right.
good
I'm-
Keep in, coach.
Refreshing again.
Yeah.
See if that's
Yeah.
helped out. One additional person voted. Great, thanks guys. Whatever. So among the so there's gonna be three at the bottom here. That's fine. We'll work with that. American Nacho, Wick, and Zizzle. Thank you so much,
Oh.
all of you, for. Oh, actually, other people did vote, and they voted for Ugly Pie. I saw that.
I got an extra one too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But yeah. Thanks for. I mean, like the 3 people who legitimately voted, and fuck the rest of y'all. Moving on. So we'll rearrange this. All right. So at the bottom here, and was it Wick? Was it
Bad.
and American Nacho. Okay. Yeah. So. Oops. Oh,
What happened to my avatar?
I think you fell out of wherever you fell out of.
Oh yeah, you must have fallen out.
I'm offended.
There you go.
All right. Okay. And all right.
Get Hans with that smirk.
All right. So anyway,
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just happy to see you. Like, what do you?
That's all good, dude. This is a good time. Enjoying it.
I'm a happy person in general. I'm sorry, I can't keep.
No. What the hell are you apologizing for that for?
Like,
Okay.
like that's like, like me smiling is like the least mean thing I've done
The
tonight.
most
Like,
miserable topic to talk about. And we're making fun, so I think we win.
Okay. So the top 2 people, right? Top 2 people. That will be Ninetales and Hans. Top 3 actually. Top 3. And you'll be voting for 2 people to eliminate. 2 people to eliminate. We have 3 at the bottom. We should have only 2 at the bottom, but whatever. I'm just working with this. We're gonna adjust as we go along, but we will decide who will be eliminated. But first, these 3 will give their case why they should stay. All right, 30 seconds. American Nacho, why should you stay?
I think the first topic sucked. Okay, we all agreed too fast, and then we had to find our own things to argue about. Plus, I was dealing with technical difficulties. So, all right, this isn't even my final form. All right, keep me.
Okay. All right. Next, Zizzle, why should you stay?
We, as American Nacho said, we agreed too fast, and you guys want to hear me rant, don't you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ranting is a beautiful thing.
All right.
gotta
So,
step in next time. Gotta get in there.
yeah. Wick.
And I will do that.
I provide content. You may not agree with me, and that's okay. I'm here to ask questions as well as give my opinions, and I think I can do that well. I think I can provide a platform for you winners, lovely winners, all of you. You both all are beautiful in your own special ways, and I think the world of you. That you can keep me in to keep the discussion at a level to your level, the high level, the ones that gets the most votes. And this is my shill to you as a capitalist, as someone who is counting on your votes to keep me in the game, to keep me there. You still want to look at this luscious beard? I know you do.
All
Nice
right.
beard.
So, Ninetales, Hans, and Mark, you are going to DM me. You will DM me. You will not see it here. Right? You'll DM me who you will eliminate. So, send me a private DM. Eliminate. And I will probably save one because we're not supposed to have 3 at the bottom. We're supposed to have 2, but people didn't vote. So, I don't have to tell you.
You said 1, correct?
Yeah, just send me one
Okay.
name.
Okay, here it comes.
Wait, you have 3 people voting and 3 people on the chopping block?
I was
Don't
gonna
worry,
say,
just look, send me a name. Fuck's sakes. Like, I told you. Alright. So,
Prime. I'll just give it to those 2. I like all 3 of you.
send me
and I
a
don't
fucking
want-
name, please. Thank you.
Why? There's already 2. Fine. You made me do this.
Okay, thank you.
This is the hardest part.
Alright. Alright, so, I'll take the suspense out of it. They each voted for a different person, which is amazing. That's fine.
Shit.
So we're almost supposed to have 2 people eliminated, right? But because of unforeseen circumstances here, I'm going to save someone. Alright, so I'm going to save one of these individuals.
You're the vice president. You're that vote.
Alright, we will go because they did provide content. Wick, you provided content, so you're gonna be sticking around. The other 2, we do appreciate you. We will give you a chance to give an outro, but yeah, Sizzle, what do you have to say?
I just want to say thanks for having me here. I loved it. I hope to be here next time.
we'd love to have you back. Thank you so much. Next, American Nacho. How are you doing today? And yeah, outro.
The system is rigged. I'll be back. Okay.
I had to take you out.
Okay.
You're a powerful competitor.
I'm terrified. All right. I'll be back.
Strategy.
So just some advice for next time. None of you called me specifically pretty. Wick, you said that we're all beautiful, which is too vague.
Yes.
I will be
I
more
didn't-
specific in the future.
No one like serenaded me, and that kind of hurt my feelings. Like at that point, I was just like, I was
That
just
would
like,
be
"Whoa,
scaring
whoa."
you from my voice.
I like compliments. Look how pretty I am. Like,
So when I become stream queen, I will remember who does and does not worship me.
none of y'all kiss
Now
the
I know
ring.
to worship
Like-
you.
like-
Okay. Well, off you two go. And I will see you later. And Nacho just walked away from his stream. Didn't. All right. Well, anyway.
you can't fire me. I quit.
That's,
I won't fail you, Prime.
Why?
Yeah, you made the right choice.
hold on.
I'll show you. You
Who
did
did I
good.
remove?
Just want to put this out there. The pressure really just went up on me by those two exits. I feel like if it was like a 3-way tag team like WrestleMania, my two guys were out first, and I'm like, oh crap.
I mean, like,
Yeah, but that means you're set up to be the fucking winner of the match, though.
yeah. Now they'll consolidate behind you. Like,
Nah,
so
no, I'm
you'll get all the conservative vote.
At the end of the day, for me, this is all about coming together and having a good discussion.
Yeah.
Win or lose, I think we all win by having a peaceful debate and walking away as friends.
What a dirty centerist.
Oh.
Dirty
So
centerist.
funny.
Chill.
I will nothing against anyone on this panel. Like we can be friends later. Right now, I have to destroy you.
Right
Like,
now,
Fair
Trump won.
enough. That's the mentality I
I'm
have.
not here. Like what's
When I
that
get
survivor
ringing
thing? It's like, I'm not here to make friends.
I'm
Like,
not here
it's
to
like-
make friends.
it's like-
I came here to win.
I will say this too. One of you three, I'm not sure who it was. You can shout it out to me if you want, but you made the right choice. The other two, you need to rethink your priorities and maybe learn a lesson from the mistake you
I
made
would've
because you
voted
may
for
not have tried to
the
keep me,
first time.
but here I am.
I wanted to keep you, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, this isn't my first time, and I knew to get rid of the person who actually creates content. That's why you should never have said that.
So, all right.
Well played.
We will continue. We'll go to the next one. Should countries implement a vaccine passport? Right? Should that be a thing? One of these individual countries. You have 35 minutes left on the clock. Jump in.
absolutely yes.
Well, so currently, yes.
Huh?
Later on, when more populations get vaccinated, you can start easing that out. There are some drawbacks to it. So, for example, just to actually get into the fucking nuance of this, is so like while having them imposed does stop the spread of, can reduce the spread of coronavirus to other countries. However, though, nevertheless, as we know, the people who are still being negatively affected because of the lack of vaccine distribution are disproportionately low-income minority groups and poor people in poor countries. And so that is that negative side of this policy. However, though, nevertheless, for the sake of basically trying to provide the most amount of utility, this utility being fucking alive, this is a policy that has to be implemented, at least with it for a short amount of time.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I'd say
I
first-
will say
okay.
this. I will say this, that if we talk about the vaccine passport in the tenets of restricting international travel, I'm all for it. All good. But as Smugpug brought up, there is a side effect of and I have data, and I'll post it to chat, and you can look at the figures that the ratio of vaccination among Hispanic and Black communities in America has lagged behind. Asians are actually getting vaccinated at a higher rate than whites currently, and this is data that's good to May 3rd, so it may have changed in the last 5 days or so. But there's actually data on this, and the reason I do not support a vaccine for like going to work or a vaccine for going to Target or Walmart or anything like that, a vaccine passport, I should say, is because it will disproportionately affect the minority communities. And yes, there is utility to the vaccine passports, but we've already discussed on this panel, on a panel like this, that these are easy to fake, that these are easy to get around. And so if you try to enforce a policy like this, it's not going to stop the people who you want to stop. and it is going to hurt the people who've already been hurt by this virus enough and who've already suffered enough, and we shouldn't make them suffer more just because we want to protect ourselves. And I think that's why I would be against having a vaccine passport. I do think everyone should be vaccinated, but
I'm
I
for it
don't like that
because
thing.
I'm for it because I'm inherently against a fourth wave. At the same time, we know that with pandemics and then like the afterwards campaigns for vaccinations, there's a difficulty to get literally everyone vaccinated. I think that this is the best way to do it. You don't get participation in society until you're no longer a vector. It's that simple. I think that this is like basically these rules only apply to people who could be a risk. So why should they apply to people who aren't a risk anymore? It just doesn't make sense to me.
So, Ninetales brings up really good points. Like, there's a few ways to encourage people to get the vaccine. First is like basic social pressure from your friends and family saying like, hey, I don't want to see you until you get your vaccine. The other one is like potential societal consequences. In this case, you can't go to the movie theater, you can't get on a plane, you can't go to place X unless you either are wearing a mask or you have a COVID card. Wick, you made a great point last panel, and I'm going to quote you specifically to knock you down for this one. You said that just because something is difficult doesn't mean we shouldn't try it, right? If the issue is making sure that minorities get access to vaccines, let's get them access to vaccines and then implement. I'm not saying do it tomorrow because
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree that minorities should be vaccinated.
No,
I do disagree that we should put a punitive measure in place that will punish them. There are other ways to do it. You admitted just now. You just said there are many pressures. There are many forces we could put in place. So let's do those.
And this is a good one.
Let's do those. I do not think it'll be effective.
But why not do all of them? What I'm saying.
Because it won't be effective. I don't think it will work. And
we can make it more effective. This is just a policy thing. This is just asking can we get people vaccinated? It's we just need to provide vaccines to people. We're going to keep working on that. We're going to keep it doesn't have to be again just finishing my point. It doesn't have to be tomorrow that we have this hold up. We can say, hey, once it's been available for every American adult, and we've done everything we can over a period of 6 months, it's been 6 months in terms of time that people have had access to the vaccine, and we've made all of our efforts to get into communities of color, low-income communities, all those sorts of stuff. At that point, when it's been entirely voluntary, at this point it's entirely on you for not having got the vaccine, then I'm comfortable saying, hey, at this point maybe we could start restricting this because
that's my worry is who gets to decide what point that is. Who gets to decide when enough minorities have been vaccinated? And I'm not comfortable giving the government that power.
It could just be a basic cutoff saying once you have access to it for a long enough period of time, and all this effort's been made to give it to you. Say all American adults over 16 now have access to the coronavirus vaccine, right? Or they're now eligible to get vaccinated. Okay, so starting from that period, I think which was several weeks ago, we can say, all right, here's a 3-month period. Get your vaccine within that time. We're gonna make every effort to make sure that everyone is vaccinated. And if you need a vaccine, and you say I'm a poor community of person of color, right? Provide them with a vaccine if they want it. And then if you decide that you don't want the vaccine, if you decide that you're going to be that much of a burden on society, right? I'm a big fan of personal responsibility. If you're deciding that you're going to take your you don't want to be microchipped by Bill Gates over the health and safety and the functioning of fucking society. At that point, I'm saying, yeah, fine, fuck you. You don't get to go on planes. You don't get to go to a nightclub. You don't get to do all the fun shit that that society allows us to have because you don't seem to give a shit about maintaining societal's
but historically,
this is I just want to quickly add that sorry.
Okay, historically, we have constantly and consistently said that we are equal in America, but it has consistently and constantly been untrue. So when you say things like, "Oh, we just wait till everyone has the chance to be vaccinated," the minorities and people of color and communities who are low income generally get overlooked when we say things like that. They're kind of invisible in a way to the common people. Look how many people say racism doesn't exist. Look how many people say systemic police brutality isn't a thing.
What is common people? And secondly, if the problem is that it's disproportionate, then the answer is to remedy that with more access to vaccines for these groups, not simply to just stop doing things that give people who got the vaccine their lives back.
Like, and the Biden administration, I believe, like both the Biden administration and I believe like the Canadian like government as well, were like actively making inroads to try and get like communities of color vaccinated, like whether they're like Native communities, whether they're like like Black communities. There's active
Okay.
government programs right now to get these vulnerable people.
Despite those, and I'll link the data in chat again if you need. Despite those
I have it
programs,
open.
it still lags behind in a very real way.
All right, and then
Because that's how it works.
like we're
But
gonna
again,
get
like-
to them
So
eventually.
that's why we don't need a punitive system for
But
this.
that's
There are
why-
other ways.
I mean, I
we need a
really
system
I
that is
agree with you.
disproportionate
I
towards
agree
the
with you
marginalized
when they
communities.
should be vaccinated. I agree with you that they should be vaccinated. I disagree with how to best encourage it. And I think punitive measures like that just will not work.
Well, I think an issue is you're labeling it as punitive. That you're thinking of this as like a punishment against them, as opposed to
That's how it will turn out.
No, at minimum, it would be a prevention of further spread of a fucking disease. You know,
It has
which is
utility,
why,
yes.
Well,
yeah, it does.
like, are you okay with like a fourth wave? Like,
Well, specifically, Kevin, I endorse it after only a certain period because a secondary issue of it is effectively is the question of how long does the immunization last? Because otherwise it can give a false sense of security. For example, where you'd have this passport stamp approval, and then you may not actually have immunity. You're going there. And that's one drawback. However, ultimately, the policy, if it was being put in place today, and for example, if it lasted like X amount of months while we were still resolving these issues with distribution and getting our population vaccinated, that ultimately is a net positive with positive outcomes to everybody, as the population.
because
I get it. I do.
Yeah.
I understand that it has utility, and I understand that it will be a good. But the harm it creates is something I very much advocate against. And I think
Wait.
eventually we can get to that point. But if we implement it today, as Smug suggests, then you're going to have a lot of communities of color who can't go to work. A
But
lot
how
of
is this
people of
more-
communities
we don't
of
have
color
to do
who
it
can't
today.
go.
We
How
can
is
have
this
it
more
But
punitive?
Smug just mentioned implementing it today. This is what he's talking about.
That'd be ideal, but like, how is it more punitive than what we're already going through? We can't, like, here in Ontario, Canada, we can't go into stores. We have to get curbside delivery. All that would change is that the people who have the vaccine passports can now go into the store, and the people who don't,
I'm not
still
sure
take,
how it
still
works in
get
Canada. I'm
kill-
not a Canadian,
No,
so I
but
can't.
this is but like it's not going to get more punitive. The punitive measures are going. The things that you were labeling as punitive are just the measures that we've already put in place, and they're going to be lifted for people who've gotten the vaccine. And so the ability to bypass the measures we already have in place. So if you want to call those punitive, fine, but we clearly need them. They will use the vaccine card to finally get into the store. That is, and this will help the stores too that are otherwise only curbside pickup.
Okay, but when it ceases to be a problem for the majority, they cease to care about it.
Hold on.
And if you take out that problem for the majority, they're going to cease to care about the minorities. This has happened again and again and again throughout history.
Okay, so what you're calling for is social justice, not less measures.
If you don't mind, I just got a quick clarification on passport because it's like it seems like we keep shifting like what we mean by passport as being like just like a different entry card into other services, and like a passport as a fucking passport as we understand it.
Like I said initially,
so to be
an international passport for international travel, I have no problem with that.
So to be very clear,
but why are you doing that?
To be very clear, passport as I'm defining it is not just for international travel, but like this idea of the passport has been talked about for like dealing with things within the country, right? So like going to those nightclubs, like having that ID, a COVID ID, if you want to call it that, right? Saying that you indeed are vaccinated. So it's not just international travel, but for everything.
I'm just Wick, I'm just curious, like, why are you so okay with the international passport thing, but it's like so unokay with the other stuff that I would argue is much more important for the everyday lives of like the majority of people? They're saying if you're like, oh, look, I don't care about like it affecting poor communities of color who might want to travel internationally, but like I care about it like there. It's like it just feels like a very arbitrary like distinction when like, and it feels like we all.
How many poor people of color are traveling internationally? I think that number is very small. And in addition, a passport to leave the country, it's basically a way of not pissing in the global pool.
Rick, hold on, buddy. Hold on. Can't just talk about the minorities leaving the country. You also got to consider the ones coming in.
this going to be like?
You
Is
think
this a good
minorities
segue for
only
immigration? Like,
never come back? Minorities from other countries come and visit here.
Enough.
Go,
like,
Ugly Pie, were you trying to say something? We didn't hear it.
No, I just love this. Like, wait a minute, we haven't been talking about immigration enough.
I was like, he's been waiting. He's been silent all night. And he's like, oh no, the
Okay,
brown
so-
people, they're coming in. They're
But
bringing
that's
COVID.
a vaccine passport works
I mean,
both ways.
is that
You
how
know
we
what I
got it in
mean?
the first place? They came here with it.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we keep bringing up this whole minority issue, and that's fine. That's a just cause to talk about. But I think we need to stop separating minorities. Just why don't we just say people? Like should countries
specifically matters in terms of statistics about like their vaccinated population. Like,
This is demographics. If you read the link, I can link it
For
again.
health statistics, it doesn't
like,
matter.
I
So the
just,
question is, should countries get vaccine passports? Right. My only concern is, where does that buck stop? Me, I'm okay with telling somebody, hey, I'm vaccinated for COVID. But now that opens Pandora's box to be like, well, now you just allowed the government to get and put your health privacy on the public sector. God forbid, unfortunately, let's say someone has an STD that they may feel they're embarrassed about. Next thing you know, that has to be public. And now you're in the workspace and now somebody knows you have crabs or you have
What?
oh, that is like, okay, like Mark, you make that leap. You
I
are,
got a vaccine.
are you
Now my
headed to
boss
the
knows I
Olympics
have
with that
gonorrhea.
jump? That was so fucking far. You're like, hey, it is the same.
I have a serious
You're
question for Mark.
literally saying it's the same.
I have a
This is
serious
disease
question for Mark.
that
Can I
has
just
crippled the global economy. It has absolutely shut down entire nations. Like, and if you go outside, you can kill hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people by being a vector for like one of the most dangerous infectious diseases in our lifetime in terms of the societal scope. And, then you're trying to say that it's the same fucking thing that I have to like tell people, like, you know, like, oh man, like I have a war on my dick, so now like I have my rights. It's not the same thing. It's about
You think
scale.
there's vaccines for those? There aren't vaccines for wars on your dick.
Okay, wait, one at a time. Sorry. Go ahead, Ninetales.
Yeah, there aren't vaccines for those things, so it doesn't even apply. Need not apply.
There's a certain degree. This is a side note, Mark, for you and for chat. If you have an STD, you are obligated to tell someone you're about to be engaged in sexual activity with that you have it. You can't be held liable criminally if you do not disclose. If you know you have an STD and you don't disclose it to a sexual partner,
you guys are taking this out of context.
Practice safe sex, chat.
I believe that it's okay. If you get vaccinated for COVID, that's okay. I think you should prove that, right? Because we know that COVID does kill people. We know that it's transmissible through air droplets. My worry is, where does the buck stop? You're assuming that if you give the government 1 inch, that they're not going to take a mile on your privacy. That's my concern. Not that I'm concerned of saying, hey, Wick, I'm going to come over to your house. Here's my ID. I am, in fact, vaccinated. Would you allow me in? I'm okay with that. But where does that stop?
What are we going to do? Are we going to play video games? I'd be down for video games.
Ugly Pie, give it a try, then we'll go to Ninetales.
Sorry, that's for me. Okay, sorry. I have a point that I'd love to bring up to hear everybody's thoughts on it. Because I know that, like, I'm sure the majority of people here are all for everybody getting vaccinated. It sure sounds like that, and that we don't like anti-vaxxers. And that, but I want to propose. I have a question about how you feel about groups of people who don't get the vaccine because of the historical context that vaccines have meant for racialized people. I'm thinking, especially in Canada, the Indigenous population up here is definitely, more hesitant than, say, like the colonizers, the white settlers, because vaccines and like modern medicine has been used and is still used today, mind you, to harm these people without their knowledge. And like this has been used in various ways of vaccines. So how about
since I'm next, I'm gonna.
What about them? If we put such a policy in place of these passports, and I'm not really for them either, but like I see here and there, but these need to be very nuanced, this conversation. What about those people? I believe that is, that's a valid concern that these people have. And I don't think that they should be barred from certain things. But also, I do think there should be barriers in place. Specifically, I'm thinking institutions like in schools where, we have that for like measles and mumps vaccines. Joe should be in.
I think ultimately, though,
Yeah, we're not
obviously,
necessarily
It was Ninetales
Oh,
next.
sorry.
Ninetales, and then we can go to guys. Ninetales.
we're not necessarily talking about barring people, right? Like this would still be like curbside pickup access and stuff like that. It would be more the things where we can't have people who are an infection risk there. I get that like medicine has been used way more so in the past than present, although I'm sure within like
There's
the
still
hospitals.
forced sterilizations happening in Canada against Indigenous women.
Yeah, depending on where you are, that's for sure. But and I'm not saying it's not happening. There's obviously the missing and murdered Indigenous women's thing. But this isn't a thing that I think is going to be very abused. I think epidemiologists just simply want to get the population vaccinated. I don't think they're going to put anything weird in the vaccine or anything like that. That's just beyond reality for me. And I think so long as like we have a virus with such a high R naught, the basic reproducibility number, which is the ratio between the lethality and the transmissibility of it, that this is more justified, whereas with other forms of medical treatment, we're not often dealing with those sort of things. But we should always be vigilant of these things. I definitely agree. As far as what Mark said, I'm a little confused as where this, and we can avoid this if this is too off track, but all I hear is like this slippery slope argument of we give them the power to use vaccine passports. And mind you, this is like specifically vaccines that they can exploit apparently. And then it's question mark, slippery slope. Now they're abusing this power like way worse apparently. What changes do you see happening that suddenly lead to this magical transformation?
Well, I mean, for instance, you can add discrimination. Right? You just said it yourself that if you're not vaccinated, you can be discriminated against. Oh, don't get near me. You can't come in here. You know, like that's the problems that it's caused.
They can still access these services.
I am agreeing that for passports for international travel, there should be some type of proof, right? Because just like it happened to us, I would not want to be that country allowing a potential deadly disease to enter the country.
Right. I'm just trying to let you know that you're not really responding to my argument. I said that they can still access these services, but they'd be at a distance, whereas people who are vaccinated wouldn't have to distance themselves.
Stuff. We've dealt with that stuff before. The separate vehicle, like you guys could eat in this place, but
yeah, that was under a completely different context, so we can't necessarily say they're going to play out the exact same.
Yeah,
if masks and everything work, and I just don't understand what's the point of domestically being like, well, if you're not vaccinated, you need to stay 50 feet away from us. Ew, get away. You're sick or something, right? But why they say that about each other now when we're
it's about doing what we can, even if nothing's perfect, right?
Yeah,
and so the whole point is to like not let people who are vectors around other people who might also be potential vectors. And we do that. What's funny is ants do this. Ants actually change their social organization and behavior. They'll actually become more compartmentalized, and the tasks will become more separated when one of them gets infected, because that's how the entire colony protects itself, especially the queen, who's most isolated from the outside, but also still has to contact other ants to have, connection with food, and like they have to contact their brood and stuff like that. So I think if not that ants have figured it out, but I think if it's so fundamental that nature can do it, then so can we. And that's why I don't have a problem with these things inherently. I think you have an inherent problem with these measures, and so you're trying to kind of projecting that onto the vaccine.
I would say it's more of a permanent measure. Like I said, I'm agreeing.
You're saying this is a permanent measure?
No way.
I'm agreeing with the entire panel that for COVID, right? Because we know COVID is a worldwide pandemic. Well, that's what the word means. That of course you want to make sure that the guest country that you're visiting wants to make sure that you're not bringing something like into their country. That I'm agreeing with that, but I don't think it should be a passport. Like, there's no reason it should be stuck on you forever, because we all know eventually.
Nobody needs this to be stuck. Like, in fact, this is my last response.
Okay.
This is our best chance of
afterwards.
Actually getting rid of the virus. So this, like, if you don't want it to be permanent, then do this.
Well, let's go to Hans.
How do we get rid of tuberculosis without a vaccination passport?
So we can wait. All right. Well, so let me just quickly talking to Mark, and then I want to speak to Ugly Pie and what Ninetales was talking about earlier. Yeah. Hey. So specifically, I don't like arguments for slippery slopes, and I don't like entirely historical arguments about like bad things that have happened in the past as an excuse for why we can't do better into the future. If we do that, then we're completely paralyzed, right? It's like Ninetales said this earlier in response to slippery slope, and it said that essentially, if you are always worried about like something like going horribly wrong or like going too far, or then you could just that can be an argument for not doing anything, right? It's like, oh, like I might hurt my back at the gym, so like why would I ever lift weights, right? Or like, so like there's, and in the case of like historical like discrimination like in the medical community, I completely understand. Like it's been atrocious. Like I've read about the Tuskegee experiments, all sorts of stuff. But our response to that should not be fear. It should be better policy. And that's why I'm like inherently a positive guy. If we had problems in the past in how things were implemented, it is our job in our democratic capacity to ensure that we do better into the future. I don't like not doing something because we did it like poorly before, or like not, at least not trying, right? I find that extremely unhelpful when it comes to like seeking out policy solutions, because we can just say, oh, hey, we did this like poorly in the past, right? Like, oh, like, when we rolled out Medicaid, right? It was used like to discriminate against minorities, right? So like, why we can't ever have government healthcare again because like they'll discriminate against minorities. So it just like there's a lot of things we can do, and I would just like encourage everyone in chat, like just anyone in politics in general, like to have a more positive vision about like making the world a better place and not be horrified by this like crazy slippery slope arguments about like you having to have a stamp on your forehead about all the STDs you have in like the workplace, or just the saying that like we've heard communities of color in the past.
Listen, you're making it very funny. I'm smiling over here. My point is, my concern is not. I guess maybe I'm misinterpreting or I'm not getting this out correctly. I don't have a problem with showing anyone that I'm vaccinated for COVID. My issue is putting that power into the government. What comes next? My problem. Do you understand?
Go
ahead, Wick.
So my response, real quick, is that the slippery slope argument and the argument against the slippery slope, I get it. I understand that just because we did it poorly in the past doesn't mean we can't do it better in the future. But the rhetoric that we've heard, even on this panel today, and the things that have been proposed to do, again, and we know this, will affect minority communities more. That there's a very big suspicion amongst minority communities in Canada, especially, against these such things. And so when you put these measures in place, and I understand the need for everyone to be vaccinated. I understand that is a need. It is a necessity. We have to get over this. But I do think that there are better ways to do it and provide a financial incentive for people to get vaccinated. $50, $100, $200. I don't know what the number is. But if you do that, you'll see vaccinations, especially among poorer communities who need the money, increase rapidly. So there is a better way. We have a better tool. Why use the
why not both?
Well, because one will do harm and the other will not. One will harm people, the other will not, and that's why we do it. We can, if we need further.
You know what will also harm people? People not getting vaccinated.
If we need further measures in the future, then we can put it back on the table. But that is not necessary now. That is not necessary now because we have other tools that we can use that will not do harm. So let's use those.
Wait. I can totally understand. Like I will extend an olive branch to you. Is it entirely possible that a very, very small like percentage of like communities of color like would potentially be like negatively impacted by this? Am I making a value judgment right now saying that if we give it enough time, if we put enough resources into trying to get them vaccinated, that the benefits of having a like vaccination requirement will outweigh the problems? I'm fine making that decision. Policymakers have to make decisions like that every single day.
I'm not saying you're unreasonable for your position. I'm not saying you're being unreasonable. I'm saying that I disagree, and that's why. I don't think your points are unreasonable. I don't think that you're not using logic or anything like that. I just think there's a better way. That's all. We disagree.
There's still this like underlying thing though. Like I mean, like I'm not sure why you tried to like connect like this form of like negative outcome against these people as if it'd be like Jim Crow segregation. It categorically is not. It is not.
It leads to the same. Well, Ninetales mentioned it earlier. Certain groups can go in the store, and certain groups cannot go in the store. That is exactly what happened during those times.
But they still have access.
The meaning. Can I finish this? The reasoning may be different, but the result is the same.
No, because those people are still receiving services. They are still able. They are still able to get the items that they require from. If you're going to the grocery store, they are still able to get their groceries. They are not being denied.
Argument.
No. What the
same argument that was used back in Jim Crow's segregation days. They're still getting education. They're still able to get the services they need.
They're in the same.
This is the exact same argument. Are you that ignorant of history?
No, I'm not that ignorant. Are you?
Wait. Kindergarten Jim Crow.
Like Wick. It's like, are you okay like letting someone into a?
Hans, hold on.
Sorry.
I'll make this very fucking easy.
You're crushing this, man.
There's location A.
He's doing something.
Location A offers services. Okay, everyone is able to get the services from location A, where those services are equal. The only difference is whether you are getting those services from inside the building or whether you're getting the services from outside. What you're talking about is location A and location B that are held under completely different financial circumstances, one of which was legally oppressed to a point where services are categorically different than building A.
So that's just false.
That's the difference.
Because a lot of
It is?
times in Jim Crow segregation, they were able to get those same services from the same location. They just weren't allowed in the store. They did carry out. They weren't allowed to go in the grocery store. They had to go and tell the person what they want, and then the food was brought out to them. They were not allowed in the store. So this false equivalency, this ignorance here on display is just fascinating to me.
And then point two though is so you're trying to conflate people who may actively carry disease to race. You think that's equatable?
The result is going to affect the same people for the same reason.
That's not the question.
For different reasons, but the same result, I should say. Different
so
reasons,
not,
same result.
do not answer the question. Are those equatable?
Of course not.
Race and okay then. So then you would agree. So then I think you would understand though then that necessarily even I would agree with you. Like there is that potential of negative outcomes, and is there a likeliness of those negative outcomes? Yes, but ultimately though it goes into the utilitarian calculus of it. Unfortunately, it's a shit sandwich. Yes, but you either got the small shit sandwich or you got the fucking BLT shit sandwich. Which one do you want to eat?
But this is a false choice because we have other options.
We have to make a choice on this.
Other options. So let's use those other options.
And keep in mind, Wick, just to reemphasize what my policy proposal is, it's not just passport, it's also reallocation of vaccines to these high need areas. Which would be these minority communities. I
don't disagree with that.
However, though, I think to Han's point though, what he seemed to be getting at though is after a certain point, there will be people who would otherwise just be the anti-vax crowd who will no longer who aren't willing to actively participate, but will still be at that same threat zone to other people. And so effectively it is separating those people who are anti-vax and not wanting to get it between people who may otherwise be more cautious because of historical events or may not have may not be well versed in understanding the information about disease, and people who are actively trying to get the vaccine. So there's three big blocks of people effectively that would be separated from these policies. So it's like if I got a fucking anti-vaxxer who's bitching about why he can't go into a fucking school because he may be a plague carrier, yeah, fuck that dude. No, he's not going to fucking risk being contaminating everybody. No,
I don't disagree with that.
So
disagree with that.
Here's a small question, right?
Go ahead.
Here's a hypothetical for you, right? So I think we can all agree that communities of color, particularly like Black men, are extremely discriminated against in the criminal justice system, right?
Yes.
And so with that in mind, they're disproportionately arrested for murders or whatever, right? My solution wouldn't be not to prosecute people for murder. It would be to change how the system is systemically racist and make sure that they're not being discriminated against, right? So
are disproportionately arrested for murder. You're literally saying that that's what the crime that they committed. So no shit, they should be arrested.
Oh God! Is some guy? Is he gonna whip out the 1350 thing? I'm talking.
I don't know about this part guy. I don't know about this part guy.
Mark, I'm talking to Wick. 1 second. So what do you feel? What do you think? Because feels like our mutual solution would be to solve the underlying discrepancies inside the society, right? To fix that. It's not to say it's not to stop prosecuting murders. It's to fix the problems,
right? The time
right?
factor comes in here. The time factor comes in here. And in order to change the system enough so that minorities have the access that they need, I think we need to do it faster. I think the result needs to come in faster than we can fix that problem that we've been trying to fix for decades in America, okay?
So
there is a faster way to do it. The faster way to do it is to offer financial incentive to get the vaccine. And then you will see people who are in need of money, primarily the disproportionately poor communities, which are disproportionately people of color, actively engage with the vaccine and get it more. And this will have a net outcome that is good. It is the best way. So why use the second best when we use the best way? And why not both? Because again, one tool will do harm. And that's all I'm saying. And we all acknowledge that it's going to do harm, that it's going to hurt.
I can agree with you. I just think the benefit is greater than the problem, right?
We disagree.
That's totally fine. I don't think we can run each other past that until we get more statistics, right? But
ugly pie, please.
I would like to mention how putting a financial incentive to getting the vaccine can present ethical issues with someone properly consenting to medical service, because you're putting in something that people feel coerced to do because they need that money. That's a really big issue when it comes to medical services and ethics.
Okay.
That's a fair point. I just, in this case, I would say that the need for everyone to be vaccinated outweighs those concerns, and that concern.
I mean, I know that you feel that way, but I feel
I
this is
understand,
kind of really built in there with the
No, I
medical
get it.
system.
I get it, and I understand the concern.
Ninetales.
So
My
when we're
incentive
talking
good,
about
your
the
incentive
passport
bad.
here,
Like,
you know, it's not, you know,
Well,
we
yeah,
can't
there are
just pay
different
people to
incentives
get
that are good, and
vaccines,
there's different incentives that are bad,
but
man. You laugh about
we
that.
can
So,
bar
Wick,
people from accessing things if they aren't vaccinated,
Ninetales.
but we can't really pay them.
Personally, I'm hoping that like these medical committees will recognize that, like, ethically speaking, we need to get people vaccinated, and so it's worth it to do this at least. As far as like this hurting people, well, based on your argument, people are currently being hurt right now too. They're
Yes.
currently being hurt by so if we want a solution that will end that, we want a solution that actually incentivizes people to get the vaccine that we know will work. Not everyone needs money. And so I don't agree with just paying them. I think I don't think that necessarily works as well as you're playing it out to be. And all I'm going to say is that, well, yes, if we do this wrong and it's disproportionately targeting non-minority communities first, that's an issue that should be solved. But that doesn't mean we don't do it. We definitely need to just put an end to this, and we will put an end to this, to the harm that this is causing, not by prolonging it. That will prolong the harm. And mind you, this is the virus doing the harm, not necessarily the government. I think we over-attribute these things to the government, but this is what epidemiologists say you fundamentally have to do to prevent the virus from spreading. So I think if you really want to get rid of the harm, you should favor the thing that, like, not really forces people back to things, but gives them the ultimate incentive, which is you can only participate in society if you're no longer a public health hazard.
Yeah,
So-
I get the appeal, Wick. I get it because it's carrot and the stick, and you want the carrot. However, though, at the same time, though, like within our current scenario, when literally the effects of not doing said action is people dying, the stick might not look that bad, you know. And like as an example, not to get like, I don't want to derail, but I want to use it as a particular example of a stick process. Is Australian voting, where you can get fined if you don't participate in the voting process. This is a stick process. However, though, guess what? They got fucking high-ass rates of voting. People do it because they don't want to get that stick. So it's effectively, and like I said, like I'm not against the combination of tactics, you know, but it seems like if you only supply the carrot, you're gonna get a lot. You're not gonna get as much people as you want. If your objective goal is to get as much people vaccinated as possible, then you would want the carrot and the stick.
Hold on, I got to raise my hand here. The objective goal has moved its goal post since this vaccine and the shutdowns have started. First, it was give us 2 weeks of social distancing so we can flatten the curve. Then after that, he extended it.
Because y'all did social distance, you fucking maniacs.
Y'all suck at it.
Yeah, because literally when these lockdowns were happening, there were still people on the fucking party boats and shit, and like fucking Miami spring break of 2020.
So what you're saying?
You can't follow the rules.
No matter what,
People like shut up, Carlson, are like telling people not to wear masks anymore.
Holy shit! Shut up. Thank you. Great. That's the round.
You're making my case for me because you're just basically telling me no matter what.
I
mean, I am telling you that you're wrong. Like, I can have a conversation with Wick, but like you're just like off the fucking like rails, buddy. Like,
okay, don't worry. I'm gonna meet you too. All right. What? All right.
No topic after the round ends.
Yeah.
I mean, I never get my point across because you just jump in and try to shut me down. I mean, I'm making a point here.
Mark, you had 15 minutes.
Oh my god.
So
everyone, all right. So when I say stop talking, please stop talking. Thank you. All right. So we're going to go on to our elimination round. We're going to do elimination round right after this. So again, we're going to put a poll in chat. We're going to put a poll in chat, and you audience, you right there, you can vote for the individual that you want to stay here, right? You're going to be voting for whoever you like the most, who thought the most interesting, had the best takes, or just, I don't know, you have a beautiful beard. Yeah, like Wick is trying to point out, right? Like whatever it is, whatever your criteria is, and we're voting for who you want to stay, not who you want to go. Who you want to keep, Oh, you want to kick? All right, that's what you're gonna be voting for. So, I'll put 5 minutes onto the clock, and I'll put that link in chat. Everyone, vote now. Don't vote later. Vote right now. All right. So, link is in chat. Link is in chat. Vote for this moment. And I'll start this clock. All right. Yes. Vote right now, everyone. We'll do that. Okay. So, I'll unmute. So, yeah, how are you all feeling?
My
Feel
hands
pretty
are
good.
really sweaty.
I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. This is fun. This is good because these are topics that matter, and we need to have these conversations. And Hans, Ninetales, Smug, Ugly. I think Ugly disagrees with me. I'm not sure,
Huh?
but I
Yeah.
think we've had at least a substantive discussion here where we've kind of gotten to the meat of the issue here and like how do we fix a real problem. And I think that's a very important thing to discuss. And while I disagree with you guys on how to fix it and the best way to fix it, you know, I recognize that it's a reasonable take that you have. I do think that it's a reasonable take. I just disagree.
Wick, I don't know, I've bounced back and forth with this passport issue. Right now, I think I'm actually closer to your end here, and that instead just
Because you're based.
just offering more incentives, at least for the time being, and that part's very important because if there's a stubborn few who will not get themselves vaccinated, and that will be the case, then I think we might have to take further actions. But definitely, I think as of now, that's money. Like, it'll be a great idea. First of all, it'll be a bit of a stimulus, right? And we need more of that in this economy. So give them an incentive, like, hey, and tell people, you know, you're not going to need a mask after that. Like, people will stop. People will leave you alone about the mask. You don't like wearing a mask, people will leave you alone about the mask. Self-vaccinate. So put all these positive messages out, and there's still a few, and there will be a few who do not follow guidelines. Then you know what to do. You have to do, right? So
Vote Hans.
Yeah.
That is the guidelines.
Yeah,
Vote
that's the guidelines. Everyone,
true.
Vote right now. The link is in chat. Vote right now. We have less than 3 minutes left on the clock. Put the link in the chat. So vote right this second. Don't vote later. Vote right now. Go ahead.
You know, you want that Wick in there.
Yeah.
Chat, you were so great last round. I know you can get me to the top again.
Come on, chat. You're my little pog champs. Vote. True.
Ugly pie.
I have been the
Ugly
people's
pie.
champion thrice
Ugly
before.
pie.
I am
Ugly
still
pie.
the people's champion. Vote for me.
You-
Choose, and I will become infinitely more of a JoJo character.
I love that reference. Okay, thank you for that. But
Choose
I
the
think-
underdog.
See?
The under pie.
I just
The
it's,
under pie.
It feels weird though. I mean, like, you've only actually been the champion once, right? And
I mean, I think I've been the champion 3 times if it wasn't rigged. Stop the steal, gang. Like,
you weren't-
Trump selection bullshit.
you weren't
That's all
able
fake.
to become-
My election, like, meddling was true. They meddled in
you
my
weren't
election.
able to become the stream queen when Kill was here. I feel like Kill is your final boss, and I'm just saying.
I mean, no, I did remember I knocked Keo out. He's called me Judas like the last
but
2
you weren't
months.
stream
I
queen that
kicked his
night.
ass.
But you weren't stream queen that time. Did you make
He
it?
thought I meant it like he's a strong competitor. He's a great friend. I love him, and that's why I had to take him out.
You
I'm
always
not
try
here
to
to
pick out the
play.
strongest first. You
But,
got to get rid of the
yeah.
best competition. You know,
And-
it's a mark of respect if you get targeted
True.
first.
It's like, you know, like I'm going straight for the commander. I went for Keo this like last time, and like this time was a bit different. Like I like what Wick has to say. Like, I love chatting with libs because I think I can change them. So I'm happy that he's here with us. So like,
we have a
Well,
that
I'm
gave
happy
me
to
that
be
gave that gave me some boy vibes. Like, he looks straight, but I think I can change him.
Oh,
like-
boy. Oh, boy.
I mean,
Well, this is a totally different topic. I don't know if I want to
Stop
debate
licking
this
your
on
lip.
stream, but
Stop it. Stop it.
Links in chat. Less than a minute left in voting. Less than a minute left. So you have not voted. Vote now. And no complaints later. Vote right now. For which of these individuals you want to stay, you want them to keep around, right? Not who we want to toss. Whoever they are. If they're interesting, or they're providing content, or whatever it is, you can vote for that person. Keep them around. Okay.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
What are you doing? Wick.
I get into this stuff. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Okay, great. I'm really glad that you're having fun. I'm glad you decided to come by here. I really do actually enjoy talking with you.
Oh, I'm glad. You say that like you're surprised. Like, oh, you're surprised. It's like when a woman says, "Wow, your dick is bigger than I thought it was." I'm like, I don't know. Should I be insulted by that? Like, she's saying it's big, but it's bigger than what? It leaves me in a conundrum.
What did you expect?
It depends, right? Like, like it's a matter of perspective, right? Like, 3 inches, like, is that big for a bug in the shower? Yes. For your penis, probably not. Like, no, we love our small dong chads in the audience. I love all of you. Like, regardless of penis size, I think you're a champion, and I love every single one of you.
It's true. It's a mutable characteristic, and no one should be judged on it.
Got a lot of ties here, but okay.
Where's that link?
Here, I thought I was going to be the most cringe one.
Okay. All right, the votes are in. The votes are in. So I'm going to start our spooky deciding music right now, and we will go and. Oh, I'm sorry, like a very loud cycle. I went by my window. I hope that did not bother you all. So we're going to do our second part of the elimination royale right now, and at the top.
Say it, Prime. You know it. Everybody knows it. The true final boss. I'm back, motherfuckers, and I'm never going down again. I have reclaimed my throne. I'm in one more round. Like, I'm on track.
Okay. All right. And which way? Yes. Evil wins. Hans is
I've always thought the film was only as good as the villain, so it's like, what can
Hans is number 1. Evil does win. Okay, all right. Number 2 is tough because 3 people tied for number 2. All right. So in that case, I'll just pick one. So we had Mark, Marta, Ugly Pie, and Wick. Wick, you blasted up there. Nice work.
Yeah, this is why you kept
I'm taking you down.
You guys are using Dominion. Who cares?
Scales late game. Don't worry. He's going.
I'm gonna give it to Ugly Pie because she's really nice. Ugly Pie.
Well, Ugly Pie is really nice.
Yeah.
So I can't argue.
Thank you.
You'll be voted to throw off. So.
Oh no!
That's even better. I like making the nice ones vote. And at the bottom, the bottom 2. Or sorry, yeah. No. Bottom 2. Sorry, yeah, bottom 2. It'll be. Sorry, I'm like, holy crap. So yeah, we'll go to bottom 2. Sorry, I'm off. All right.
No worries.
See, as soon as you said that, I was like, wait, what? Did I get it wrong? I don't know, because I fucked it up in the past. All right. So it'll be Ninetales and Wick. Ninetales missed by 1 vote, or she would have tied with the rest of you motherfuckers. Ninetales and Smug, you missed by a lot.
I know.
It's okay. It's okay because you can still make it. You can still make it. So we will have 1 picker, right? And we'll have 1 picker. And I'll give that to Ugly Pie. Ugly Pie, you'll be the picker. You will choose among these individuals who gets to stay. Right? It's in your power. Ninetales and Smug.
Do I message you?
Yeah, you'll be DMing me.
Or say it.
You'll be
Okay.
DMing me, yeah. And so, Ninetales and Smug, Ninetales first, will be begging on your knees, please, for Ugly Pie to keep you. Why should she keep you?
Well, I mean, I'll just get the flattery out of the way. You're actually great. I love having you on the panel, and like you have the most wonderful facial expressions, and your smile made me smile. Actually, you can totally vote me off.
Stop it.
Because no, but you should vote me off because I want to see you win, and I'm your biggest competitor out of the 2 of us. Smug has got nothing. Okay, he sometimes comes in with this extra long droll nobody even wants to hear. So I honestly I have somewhere I can be after this. Not that like it's bad if I stay. I'd love to stay and win as well, but I think the stoner vote has burnt out, and it's my time. So please, actually, give this one to Smug so that way he can be embarrassed with it.
Oof.
What?
You get a bulk of belt.
Next.
Smug, you know I love you.
Best of luck. I'll be ready.
Make your case, Smug.
Top games. All right, so
Smug, are you on your knees? I don't see you on your knees.
Speak your.
Oh.
yeah, speak my truth. You know, like I know that there are temptations to fucking vote my ass out. I'll tell you, if you've been around here, you know that I'm not afraid to put shit down for good content. As Ninetales will know, because she was afraid to say it, you know, she has been a victim of very hot takes. So if you want to get that experience, you know vote in for some very good takes.
Oh,
I think.
So you'll be DMing me as to who these individuals are going to toss out, whose dreams will be broken by your hands, who will come out in your psychological mess due to the decision that you're making. Let us know. Goodbye. So send me that DM.
I would like to actually vote out Prime for making me make this decision.
Oh.
I'm now the host. Thank you.
Overruled. Actually, I don't know. I'd probably boost this channel if you did.
If you ever need a co-host, let me know.
Mark, you are not sending me anything. I don't know why you're sending me a name.
Oh crap! I'm confused. I'm sorry.
No,
My bad.
just like and just for the record, Mark voted out Smug. And so did Uglify.
High five. No, you can't.
Sorry, there can only be one UG in the call.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, this has been decided. All right. So, Smug Plug, you should remember this. You should remember this for the future. The people who betrayed you, tossed you out. But it is what it is. Smug Plug. Last words for the panel.
Yeah. So I'm Smug Bug. I'm a mod here. If you disagree with any of my takes, chat. If you disagree with any of my takes, don't be a bitch and get a VC. There. I ain't afraid of you, and that's why I don't get votes, because I keep it real with you. All right, I'll see you.
Thank you so much, Smug. Yeah, Smug is a great member of the community. We love him. He really does do a lot for the channel. So I just want to take a moment and recognize him for all that he does. All right.
I'm so sorry.
No, this is definitely all your fault. You should feel guilty. He's gonna cry into his dinner now. He'll be telling his wife. Of how all his greatest dreams were shattered. All he wanted to do since he was a little boy is become Stream Queen. And you've taken that away from him. But it is what it is. All right, but look, I guess somehow you'll figure out a way to live with yourself. All right, moving on. Next topic. All right. Should the U.S. pay reparations to women and LGBT individuals for like the discrimination that they faced and all the other challenges, right? So we've talked about. I know if you've been on this on the panel circuit, we've talked about reparations before. That's the thing that's happened in your life. But yeah, so I want to talk about it like in terms of our women friends and our LGBT brothers and sisters. Should they also receive some sort of reparations? Okay, 25 minutes on the clock. Go ahead.
In what form? Are we talking cashing a
I
check?
don't know. You figure it out.
Are we talking programs that helped deal with the systemic injustices they have faced? If we're talking about cashing a check, I would say categorically no. There's too many issues with that. There's too many, like, for example, in the LGBT community, not everyone comes out until they're very late in life. And so what real discrimination before you come out do you face, and how do you deal with that? Another issue with cashing a check is where do you draw the line? Who gets a check? Does a woman who is a billionaire still receive that check? I don't know. Easier and better, and something that will be more lasting and helpful, because again, a check won't address the systemic issues that we still face, that not that I'm a member of either community, but that these individuals still face. and that if we address it that way, if we put reparations, things like affirmative action, adjust it so it works better and things like that, we can have a real impact. And I think that is where I would put all my effort into, not a check. A check won't work, and that sucks to say, but I just don't think it will do what we want it to do. It won't address the root cause of the issue.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I believe there needs to be just cause and direct effect. We can't go back 80 years and say because women struggled back then, and we all know that the laws were against women's rights and voting, and basically try to make the cookie cutter housewife out of females. Whereas now they have the right to vote, they can be anything that they put their hearts to be. If that is the case where it would affect women directly, then I believe, yes, that there should be some form of reparations because it did cause immediate damage. But I don't believe that reparations should go back to 80 years or anything like that, where we could just say, well, at some point women were oppressed, which we know, nobody should deny that. We know that's what it was. But if we're 3, 4, 5 generations later and the laws and our society has brought as close as we can, maybe it's not equal yet. I can't really speak on it. I'm not a woman. I don't face the discrimination that women possibly face face in their workplace or out in public. But if it's something that does directly affect a woman's ability to succeed just as evenly and equally as a man, of course, it's just like anything in today's world. If you're damaged, you will be sued and you will be paid out. And I believe the same should apply for women and LGBTQ individuals.
It wasn't women though; it was LGBT individuals and trans folks.
It was
like it was both.
Yeah,
It was
the
women
topic
and
had
LGBT.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it said both. I'm
both.
sorry.
I'm
Yes,
sorry,
it's
I must
both.
have missed that
Oh,
part.
It's okay. Yeah, I copied and pasted the question.
So I'm actually going to jump in with Wick on this one. I am also not the most in favor of cash payments. Mostly, specifically, I haven't done a lot of research into reparations for women LGBT folks. So specifically, the big issues, we say with reparations for Black Americans or communities of color, is that oftentimes providing just a check does not fix the infrastructure. It does not give them the capacity to spend it in productive ways or ways that would uplift their community. Right. That's the biggest issue. So in the case of fixing those problems, most reparations, or I would say the most successful reparations, normally take the place of infrastructures that allow communities of color to uplift themselves. In this case, women, LGBTQ, all that sort of stuff, right? It seems I'm not saying that checks wouldn't be helpful, because obviously if you get money, you're better off than before, when you had less money. But I would say that if you have to pick about what's better, I see some people in the chat saying why not both? I'm okay, actually, fine. If I can do both, sure. But if I have to pick one, I'm probably going to pick the infrastructure reparation stuff first, right? As opposed to as opposed to checks. Everyone feel free to fight me on that. But again, I like the ideas of both for if whoever's been discriminated, if especially if it's a particular community, that sounds like a great idea. It's just if we're trying to find the right way to help these people, and I'm part of that community, yeah, it sounds great, right?
So I'm actually gonna go ahead and just say flat out no. If we're I'm not actually sure what is being. I guess I don't know if repaired is the root word of reparations, but repaired just for the sake of argument, because frankly, a lot of this has been a more kind of social oppression for trans and LGBTQ people, and I still got that wrong, I think. I don't know. Yeah, so what the arguments I hear for reparations is that Black communities are still, and Indigenous communities are still living within the forms of not just systemic oppression, but literal direct violent oppression from the people who are basically trying to either steal them or steal their land. And the fact that they haven't gotten out of that is a huge problem. I'm all for talking about giving trans people surgeries, but at the same time, I think that's pretty much where cash payments kind of stop. It'd be wonderful to have more funding for communities and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to put it under the banner of reparations though, because it seems after Jim Crow and all of the stuff that these communities, that both Black and Native communities have gone through, that the case for reparations is a much different one than what the women and LGBTQ communities have faced.
Ninetales, I'm not sure if I've seen the data on this. Isn't there something about trans people particularly like trans like Black women like being like oppressed like inside like the criminal justice system as well, like whether it's like interacting with cops or like interacting in general. I think there's like something about that.
Yeah, like for the most part, most trans women don't even like report their sexual assaults or stuff because cops will take the side of the person who abused them and stuff like that, if they're unlucky, and so it's just not worth the risk. Plus, like if you defend yourself, it's a huge issue because you can still get accused and still go to jail and still have to go through the court system, and going through the jail that may not recognize your gender as a trans woman is very, very scary.
I think an issue that we do need to talk about as a panel is the issue of pragmatism. And I know a lot of people don't like the issue of pragmatism, but it is a necessary issue. And Hans, you are very wise and smart for agreeing with your bearded man. But you must understand that when we have two, okay, so most people are informed of helping, of equity, of equality, of putting everyone have equality of opportunity. And so they understand, they may not, we may disagree here and there on how, but they understand that systemically women and other marginalized groups such as the LGBT community have faced some sort of discrimination and oppression, and that lasts even up to today. But almost everyone could agree that historically this has been the case. So they are pretty much for reforms and reparations on that side. But when you bring cash payment to it, support drops. So if you want to get something actually done, let's do what we can actually do instead of putting something in that will be very divisive, very combative, and create a lot of issues and risk in a very real sense, in a very large risk, them not getting anything at all.
So can I ask something though? Does that support that drops come from the left-wing side or the right-wing side? Because I feel like the right-wing side is where the support drops more than anything.
I honestly do not know where. I haven't seen any data on where the support drop comes from, so I can't.
I feel like it's a very conservative position to withdraw your support the moment we're talking about handing out cash.
Yeah, I don't have any data, so it would be wrong of me to guess or make shit up. So
it's not wrong of me to guess. I'm going based on past experience.
But I don't want to misrepresent myself as an expert on this issue. That's all.
As a woman, I would like to say I would love to receive a check from the state for being a woman. But it seems that all of us here agree that, direct money isn't the right way to go here. I also agree with that. I think that, I don't agree with Mark that we're at a state in society where, there is gender equity or gender equality. I never
said that. I said closer than before.
Oh, certainly. We are closer. Obviously, I get to vote now.
Base.
And I think that if we want to find solutions, if we actually want to help these people who have been historically disenfranchised and marginalized, I don't think that giving money straight to the people with these identities is exactly the right way to go. That there are systemic issues that we should be focusing on, like, I guess at the top, at the bottom, I'm not sure which way it goes, but that will in turn help these people. I'm
sorry. It seems like we're
it's interesting that everyone having consensus on this. I disagree with this. Like I don't see why, for instance, you can't do both. I think Lupai made a good point talking about.
Okay, can I?
Hold on, let me finish my point, and then you'll.
Yeah, I want to hear Prime.
Lupai made, I thought, a really good point. Talking about dealing with systemic issues, and that's absolutely the case, right? But then you could do that, and also give people a check, give them economic incentives. Ninetales said something earlier, and maybe I'm misinterpreting what she said. Hopefully not. But that that the LGBT community, right? Like most of their discrimination they face has been more social, right? But I would say the LGBT community has also faced a lot of economic discrimination. People getting fired, like the moment you find out they're gay, they got gay married, right? Getting gay married on Sunday, fired on Monday, right? Like that's enough. There's a saying about that. And for my trans brothers and sisters, them not being able to get hired, right, in different jobs, right, or once they start to transition, then they're out. So I think they have faced a lot, and so many, and again, my trans brothers and sisters having to go into the sex work industry, right? Because a lot of them don't have enough choice. So these seems like prime individuals to get checks, right? And same for women too. The same, so much that applies for women as well. So why not tackle those systemic issues? Absolutely.
I mean, it really seems
then
like
a
a
check.
band-aid to me.
Well,
yeah,
that
if
really-
I could respond.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I wouldn't disagree that there are economic scenarios that you can list for these things, but they all sound very social to me as well. And it may be a sliding scale, but I also say that like Black and Indigenous communities are much more on the direct generational are on the scale that where they're more impacted by their generational history than what women and LGBT folks are. I'd say that still proportionally speaking, they face a much more social kind of oppression. And I just don't think that facing economic issues is enough alone on its own to like warrant calling it reparations. Now we can talk about other programs and stuff like that and how that would benefit these communities, but I don't want to put under the banner of reparations, which are to me a much more fundamental thing.
Well,
So
I also agree with.
just real quick.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Wick.
So when we talk about getting checks to people and things like that, specifically as Prime mentioned, that there is a value to this. There is a value in giving people who have been disenfranchised, there is a value to people who have suffered economically because they tend to be poor communities and things like that. However, we got to be sneaky about it. We got to be tricky. We got to trick the people into it. And you know how you do that? Negative income tax. UBI. This will help all the groups. You can sneak it in. You can get those systemic stuff in, and you can get the people their cash payment. Yes, you don't call it reparations. You don't use that word, but you sneak it in. You sneak in those payments, and I think it would do more good and be more likely to pass than just calling it reparations.
Right. So
I don't disagree.
For me, the issue there would be that, as you all stated, and I agree with that, there will be pushback against, of course, from the conservative side, because let's be real, the word UBI is just another word for tax on the right. Okay. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm going to be taxed now just so I can have my money go there, which is why I made the case earlier to say there should be basically a direct punishment payment. So like, again, let's say a transgender person or a homosexual male or female, they go to get a job and that job discriminates against them. They should be punished directly. There's no reason why somebody in California should have their taxes raised to pay for a mistake I wouldn't even say the word mistake, but a blatant discriminatory action taken against someone based on their, gender or their race or, sexual orientation.
So
I think
we already do this. It's called a lawsuit and a settlement. And what we're talking about is whether or not like our government should handle this, not the justice system.
Right. So what you're arguing is that that you believe it's systemic. And to me, when I hear the word systemic, I feel like it's like a word that just means it can never be fixed because it's part of the system. So
it means that you need a broader So Mark, here's why you call a problem systemic and why most of the time they require quote unquote systemic solutions. Because when something is systemic, it means that like an individual person, like most likely, like no matter how well connected or like what like wealth they have, they cannot solve like the entirety of that problem. And that most of those times, like when I say there's a systemic issue about like maybe like transit problems, and like we have to build a bunch of roads, right? The best way that we probably would have done that through like some sort of like government programs and government spending, like like when we created our highway system and stuff like that, right? So when we say like there's a systemic problem, we're normally talking about both the scope of the problem and the necessitated scope of the solution. So when I say like this is a systemic issue, it means like it's like kind of like intrinsic inside. Say it's not saying that it can never be fixed. I'm a super big optimist that I think most systemic problems can eventually be like either like fixed or like at least like absolved so much that like they barely like even noticeable anymore.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I had to like kind of like clarify that what I feel like when I hear someone say systemic, it's kind of like saying it's like innately built into the programming of the system. Therefore, in order to fix it, that program must be completely written. Which could be a good thing. I'm not saying that
it depends on the program. It depends.
Yeah,
on the program.
it
we can nitpick and choose, but you know what I'm saying as a general, in a general sense.
I do want to address one point you made though about people considering a punitive tax that the taxes we raise. We don't need to raise tax to do this. We can address spending issues. We spend far too much for the military. I say this as a veteran. We spend far too much. We can reduce spending in that to do this. We need to treat women and LGBTQ and other people who deserve a cash register, the poor, like fighter jets. We spend $400 billion on fighter jets. Treat the poor like that. Treat them like fighter jets. Then we'll have no problem spending billions and billions of dollars on them. Why not?
Well,
No way,
Do
that
it.
could become a slippery slope.
Our own military, since we are both veterans, and we stop sending money to, let's say, misogynistic, masculine societies in the Middle East that are going to beat up their women, throw trans and homosexuals off the
there are
building. Why are we
bigger
giving them
issues there. That this is a
There's-
geopolitical issue that doesn't have a scope in this discussion here.
But it's
That's
diverted funds. But
So-
it's still
so, like I will take a bullet like Wick. I don't particularly care about like how much you raise taxes about like tax. Like when I think about like what I want to do in society, I just think about the programs that I want to create, and I have to like either fund those programs or like use some sort of like spending. Right? I don't like monetary theories a lot. I don't think we can just like blow up fiat currency. Like there's some like issues with that. So I'm a tax and spend guy. I'm a medlock kind of guy.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not
like,
against taxing, but if we want
But
to,
what I'm saying is like I'm just like I don't like the idea that just because we're spending money on something doesn't mean we can't find money for something else. Like the amount of like taxation in American society is like there's a lot more wealth like for us to extract through government programs. So I'm just like that's what I think about when I think of like systemic issues. Like
but
like
I want to phrase this in a way to trick the right wing into supporting this. I want to do this in a way that it will pragmatically pass.
Kowtowing to them. Jesus, this is why
It's not
like
kowtowing.
this is
It's
why
using them.
Democrats
This
lose.
is using them. This is persuasion. It's the art
This
of
is why
persuasion.
Democrats lose because they're afraid of progressives
not
and they
true.
keep on trying to appeal to people like you.
No, Democrats lose because they continue to say bad rhetoric, phrase things bad way, sloganeer in bad ways that do not move.
No, that's just the right wing that focuses on that stuff.
No, okay, so all right, like splitting hairs here. Like Wick, I agree. Like some Democratic slogans, very, very bad, unpopular. My issue is not with like the specific sloganeering. I have a different opinion of you on like how to solve problems via taxation. Like my issue with you is not like a semantic one. It's like a very like nitty gritty policy one. So like that's like I can vibe with you. Yeah, maybe we do get better at messaging. Ninetales, I'm not for like just like always saying like catering like to right wing ideas, but like just from like a pragmatic perspective, if I gave you a yes or no like a yes or no right now and said if we could like pass like all of Bernie Sanders like platform right like in America but we just wouldn't call it democratic socialism, we'd call it super capitalism, right? Like the Vosh thing. So like would you be okay with that? Like again, like because it's just like if we're really caring about labels, because like here's my thing, right? When I want a policy passed, once I've decided to pass that specific policy, I don't particularly care how I'm going to do it. Like I would pick the most efficacious way of getting people to support it. If that means I have to sound like Wick, I'll do it. If it means I have to sound like you, I'll sound like that, right? So like I really don't care about how you do it. I just want to get the certain policies that I have passed, right? So that's the kind of where I'm at on that. I'm like, yes,
reparations though. When we are paying forward damages that were done in the past, correct? So we are catching up with past transgression. A tax is blaming everyone currently in the country for something that they had nothing to do with. Okay, that's why
you just made a logical leap. Because first we went from something that was in the past for sure, and then you brought it to the present for no reason. We're still talking about what happened in the past, so make sure that applies to point B as well.
No, okay, correct. I'm sorry. Okay, you got that one. But what I'm trying to say is that when we're speaking about paying reparations and Hans is saying raise as many taxes as you want, and then we have Wick saying, well, let's divert money from our military. Well, our military also needs to get paid. That's citizens that have a job in the military. My whole point is if you're going to divert money that's being spent that you feel is wasteful, take it away.
So you don't want to divert money and you don't want to raise taxes.
I really don't like this military man. As a former enlisted veteran, when more money goes to the military, it does not go to us. It does not go to the soldiers. It does not go to that. It goes to the fun programs that the people at the top like to do. It goes to more toys for them to play with.
I'm sorry. Doesn't the U.S. government have their name on your check?
They did back when I worked for them.
They
Yes, but again, the money that is presented wouldn't go from my check.
But you're worried about wasteful, useless
spending.
spending.
The toys that the officers like to play with.
Okay, I gotta give a big shout out to She Who's Thirst. They were totally right. The damages are still going on, but we can save cutting money from paying the soldiers last. We can cut so many other things. We can withdraw from different parts of the world where we're currently investing money. We can have fewer drills. There's so many other things than a soldier's paycheck that can be attrition from the military.
And let's not act like the States is taking care of their veterans, okay?
True.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ugly. Have you, did you serve?
I have a family member who did.
Are
Thank
you,
you.
Okay,
are you
and
a
you're from
veteran?
Canada,
Did
correct?
you like?
I'm not trashing you here,
Ollie, like
but
you're not.
for me,
all right,
I'm
Mark,
sorry.
you're neither a woman nor one of the LGBTQ, and that's what we're talking about right now, right? So like, because you're not like one of those things, you're not allowed to have an opinion on this, right? That's what you're trying to say to her right
no,
now.
we're talking.
Because that sounds really fucking stupid, don't it? When you say it like that.
We're talking about money. Okay, Wick made the point that we should take money away out of our military, but and he's
That is
And we
one
should.
way. It may not be the best way. It may not be the best way. We need to look at the
I
data.
don't care whether we fund it or don't fund it. Like, I just want to get the money for the stuff that I actually want. Like,
and I agree with you that there should be money put there, but we can't just say we can't just assume and say, oh, we'll just take it out of our military when we know there's way more wasteful spending in others. We know this to
Look,
be a fact.
I agree with you here that there are other ways to do it. There is no. This is my problem I had with the last topic. There's not just one way. There's not just one solution.
I have to disagree with you there because you're asking somebody to take now even less money to put their life on the line. Same as police officers. And
We're not talking about the salaries here.
no one's talking about pay cuts for serving members of the military, bro. Like we're
Like the trillions of dollars that the military uses and wastes, like all like it's so much.
I'm in favor of auditing the so yeah, everyone so Olive Branch like to Wick or like to Mark, right, about the military spending stuff. I'm in favor of auditing the Pentagon, making sure that we're spending like correctly, like in terms of we need to know how much money we're actually spending, right? Make sure that they like maintain inside their budget. But again, this isn't the issue when we're talking about say like I know we're saying like, oh, like I would rather not spend for X, I want to spend for Y. Again, like I don't think like that when I'm like looking for policies. I'm just like, what do I want to pass? I will find the funding for those things. Everyone does that, right? Every administration has found this capacity. Like if they care about it, if it's a pet project of theirs, they are going to find the money, whether it's by raising taxes or in the case of Republicans, whether it's by blowing fucking gigantic fucking holes in the deficit, right? So it's like either way we do this, like let's talk about like what we want to do as opposed to like just saying like, oh, like what I don't like this one. It's like, yeah, no shit, but like we're not really talking about military funding right now. We're just talking about what we do want to fund.
This is exactly that. This is an example. This panel is an example why when it comes to LGBTQ and women's reparations, that to address it systemically is we all agreed. But once money came into it, now we have fights. Now we have disagreements. Now we have people going at each other. So if we want to get this actually passed, let's address the systemic issues.
What I find funny is that the people who are disagreeing on like the worst premises. Like, oh no, like support fell from people who literally get mad when there's taxes being raised on anything except when it's the military. When you raise tax so there's more military spending, not a peep from these people. So I don't really give a shit about their double standards. I give a shit about actually getting things done. And if like the Democrats lose their centrist base, they can just become more progressive or shut the fuck up.
That's not gonna. If the Democrats lose their centrist base, they will never win an election again, and you don't want.
No, you don't understand. There are a lot of people who wish the Democrats will become more progressive. Bernie Sanders was proof of that. If you think that them going more progressive won't work for them, I think you're missing a lot.
Win.
Yeah, because the Democrats sabotaged his campaign.
Okay, it's like they did not sabotage it to the point of him losing by like 20 plus points. Like guys, like I was a volunteer for the Bernie campaign. Like what Mark said notwithstanding.
I wanted Bernie to win.
Yeah, I agree. Like so like what I'm saying is like Wick has a good point in the sense that there's not enough leftists to currently win a Democratic election. That means we have to like either convince libs to make them more left leaning, or we have to like have a platform that appeals to libs, right? I'm in favor of a two-part strategy. I want to make sure that people like Wick are happy, but then I want to move people like Wick left so that we have more people like us, so that more people like Bernie can get elected. It's a two-part game. You can't just say there's enough leftists because clearly not enough. Like even if we have to win by like bigger margins, then we need to make those margins, right? Like the stack is always going to be stacked against us. If that's going to be the case, then we have to win harder. We have to win so decisively.
Okay, how many progressives did you talk to who said that Bernie isn't radical enough? And how much of that lack of radicalness would you attribute to him not saying stuff so he can maintain party lines? If he had not maintained party lines and took a more progressive stance, I believe you would have seen these leftists that you're not seeing.
They don't exist. Like
look where we are. We're on fucking Twitch. There's leftists literally everywhere. All the right wingers are complaining.
This is not representative of
a couple thousand
America.
I mean.
Like,
no.
Oh my god! Like literally 16,000 of them watch his song on a daily basis.
Can we get back to the
topic?
Is that enough?
On a daily basis, it is.
Not.
Daily viewership is very high. That's a lot for daily viewership.
Can we get back to the topic?
And that is the round. Thank you so much.
My gosh.
Okay. I might ask this question again. I'll probably ask this question again when I'm done, Lily. This like went wildly off base, but that's fine. As long as people are enjoying themselves, I don't care. But yeah, I think I'll probably ask this again when I'm done, Lily, because on our female focus panel, because I'm really curious as to what they'll all have to say there. In any case, we will do another elimination round right now. Another elimination round. This is the second to last round, right? So whoever wins here will be going on to the final round. You're going to be voting. I'm going to put the link in chat. Once again, I got to explain it again for the people. You'll be voting for which of these individuals you want to stay, not who you want to go, right? The most popular one, right? The one you found the most fascinating, most interesting, funniest, most entertaining. Doesn't matter what your criteria is, right? Or, yes, the one with the most colorful shirt. So, whatever it is, whatever it is. Whatever it is, you will decide, right? So you'll have 5 minutes, 5 minutes on the clock to vote. Vote now. Don't vote later. You will miss your opportunity. Oh, did I? Come on. Yeah, there we go. So the link is in chat. Link is in chat. Vote now. Vote now. Now's the time. Make your voice heard. Okay. And to the rest of you, how are you? Oops, I forgot to start the timer. How are you feeling so far?
I should definitely win for sweatiest hands.
It's like,
Also feet now.
Wonderful. All right, that's a visual. But
I'm just so nervous. Okay.
I had
doing great.
You're doing great. You're doing
Thank
great.
you.
I had a cousin who would come to I would go to his house, right? And I remember like in his room he had carpeting, this like gray carpeting, right? And we would play video games together, and he would get like super sweaty, especially his feet. I remember just like sitting there.
Would it leave
looking,
footprints
like,
in the carpet?
poking at his feet because like it was soaked underneath the carpet. Why is your feet so sweaty? I did not understand. Yeah, it was weird. Do you do that? Is that how much?
I don't think so.
Is
I'm
it just
mostly
because you
very
don't have
bland.
carpeting, or is you're just soaking
I
the
do have
hardwood?
carpeting, no.
Okay.
No, just hardwood.
it's like I don't think it's I really think it might just be like genetic thing because like I'm a pretty fit guy. I sweat all the fucking time when I play video games. Like I'm just like pouring buckets. Like yeah.
If I'm
Whenever I get
nervous, I'll
excited, it's like let's go. It's time, like that's kind of why I'm in the tank top right now because if I was wearing a t-shirt,
Cheated.
like there'd be
Ready to
fucking
go.
pits all over this shit. Like you don't have to see it, you just get to see the goods. So like
like
vote Hans. I did this for you, chat. I selected my wardrobe so you didn't have to see it. I'm doing this for us. Like
Vote on
And
the
as you
fire.
can see, I'm such a pro streamer now. Oh yeah.
I think
This
it's very clear.
this is like a nice jog in the park on a cool day.
I think it's very clear who has had the most base, the most awesome, the most educated takes here. That is me. There's been
No, it's
very
the one
much.
who ain't sweating.
Hans agreeing with me was the smartest thing you ever did, because you're going to get some of that vote too, some of that intelligence vote, you know,
Okay,
which
like-
I know is
like-
going to
like,
blow
Wick,
up in
Wick,
chat
Wick,
right now.
we are not the same. I am radical as fuck. I'm just trying to get all the stuff I want passed. And that
I
if that means
want a lot of the
somebody
same
call me a
things.
lib, I don't give a fuck.
I want a lot of the same things you do.
Socialists. Like
Hey,
I want
hey,
a lot
Hans.
of the same things you do.
what's
Hey
up?
Hans, you're a fucking lib.
Oh no! I've never heard. Oh, why are you doing this to me? Oh, good googly moogly. Like,
That's right.
fuck,
I went there.
I don't. It's right. Like
It's going
like,
down.
I'll admit it. Like when some people first called me that, I was kind of hurt. But then I was just like, I don't care. Like it's just like dread it,
Sticks and
run from
stones,
it.
they break my bones.
Call it a
But
lib.
please vote for me.
Hans will still win.
I'm gonna say though, like as long as you pander to the right, like just enjoy running in circles. Just enjoy.
The link is in chat. Everyone, if you want to vote, we want to keep these individuals on.
Vote.
These people have given you nice entertainment for the last few hours. We'll show that appreciation just by giving them a vote. It's a free vote. Jump in there now. You'll have a minute and a half left, right? So vote right this second.
If you vote for me, I will do the whole last debate with wearing this mask.
Oh, don't do that, please. Thank you.
I will do
Oh,
that.
you're stuck.
Nick, I swear to God, like if you're in the
I
bottom,
can't repeat. I don't even have a cam.
knock your ass out. Like, don't you fucking do that.
I will do what I need to do here. I'm
You
a
found a way to do
pragmatist.
something more obnoxious than Doobie. Congratulations.
But yeah, so we have just over a minute left. Everyone, now's the time. Now's the time to vote. Vote this second. Yeah, but I was surprised that we had so much agreement on that last topic because I definitely feel differently, and I'm very curious as to what if we had a room full of ladies here, they would all have the same opinion here. I'm very, very curious. We're gonna find out because I'm gonna ask that again on Amazon Leave. See what they do. See what they say there. But still, this was I think it was a good conversation.
Oh, yeah.
and I like the idea of taking a hatchet to the military budget. What a dream that would be. Just and
why is there a fuck doobie emote? I'm just.
What?
I mean, I understand why, but like. Someone made that.
That was
like,
okay, because a regular doobie emote would be inappropriate. The only right way to do a doobie emote is a fuck doobie emote.
Wow, I didn't know that Eris had created that. That's really awesome. Eris, good friends for doobie. So
doing great work as always, Eris.
Yes, we actually do love Eris. So
is Eris in chat? Hi, Eris.
I don't know. I have no idea if she is.
Everyone, I'm just saying, like, if you like Eris, if Eris is in chat, she would vote for me.
Okay. Well.
Oh my. Okay, Hans. Okay.
Wait to assume.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay.
We're friends.
Ooh.
So.
Okay, chat. I'm tying with Mark right now. If we can beat Mark, I won't have to deal with this.
Actually, I'm
elimination round bullshit.
Okay. So.
You're tied for third.
Shh, don't spoil.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
I want to hear the.
Everybody can refresh.
Everyone can see the results page. I don't know what you're so afraid of.
I can't.
Don't pay attention to the guy behind the curtain.
I'm just telling you.
You should be
voting.
voting. You should be voting for yourself, Ugly Pie. I don't know, like you should.
I already have. But
Okay,
then
great.
now it's gone.
Okay.
Did you vote for yourself twice? I see you. Like,
Okay.
like, how many tabs can I open? Like different IPs. I voted from America, from Canada, from.
Oh boy.
I'm texting my group chat. Everyone's logging on to vote for me.
I was gonna list like other countries, but like we all know, like
I gotta pull a Donald Trump here. Stop the counting. Stop the counting.
It's already done. You guys just kept talking, and I couldn't tell you that.
Wait, are we allowed to just like invite groups of people to come vote for us, even though they're not watching?
They should be watching.
No, that was totally.
That's poor form. That's poor form.
You can invite them to come watch. That would be great. Be part of the community here.
Yes. My Twitter. No one cares.
Okay.
I'm sure my mom is watching.
Do you think your mom is watching? Really?
If not, she'll watch the VOD.
Okay.
Hello, ugly mom.
Yeah. Hello.
She's
all incredibly infuriated at you for calling me ugly.
Your daughter is making me call you ugly. I think you made a very adorable child here. So this is not my opinion. She actually making me do this. All right.
You do have a pretty awesome mom. I wish my mom.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you would watch a bot like that. Okay, so let's get started. Look, things aren't going well in my life. Hans is number one again.
Whatever. Great.
Hans is number one.
Break me down, and I shall become.
He's a great debater. He's quick. You're welcome, man.
Hans
Credit due.
Hans is a person, so alright, well, anyway.
You see, this is why it's rigged. You know it. You see his opinion of me. He's trying to keep me down. The establishment cannot let its distaste for me be hit. It's too great. It's too strong. It's oozing out of him. He's like, I have to stop Hans, but you can't stop me because I'm too strong. Whoa!
Okay, wow. So. Okay. And unfortunately, we have a tie. I don't know if these ties, but it's actually quite annoying. But look, who's definitively at the bottom is you, Wick.
No.
shouldn't have brought up that baby mask.
I made mask my screwdriver. This is true. But we have a tie for I guess second to last. That'd be Ninetales and Wick. Sorry, Ninetales and Ugly Pie. I'll just have to put you all there up for top of the block, right? And just let the winner decide who it's gonna be. It's gonna be you, Hans. You're gonna decide on these three lovely individuals.
I promise not to wear the ugly mask.
Tossed out. So, you will have
Sorry,
to...
my ugly mask doesn't come off.
Oh. So, God damn it. This is the worst part, because now you're gonna have to inflate Hans's ego, beg him to stay, right? So, God damn it. Ugly, you first, Ugly Pie. Why should you stay?
Hans the Mons. You beautiful buff beefcake.
Don't fall for it. It's a trap. It's a trap. Honeypot, don't do it.
I'm not gonna beat you. I'm super not gonna beat you. This is the fourth panel I have ever been on. I have probably talked the least out of everybody here. I am very bad at interrupting people and sneaking my way in there. And you're very good at it.
Sneaky tactics. What can I? It's not about fighting it. It's about breaking. Like, gotta be like the Kool-Aid man. It's like, oh yeah, like, hello, I am here with a dunk. It's like, you're doing great.
Well, you are certainly better dunking than I am. So you should keep me because you'll win. And also, it's fun having someone to call ugly all the time.
I honestly feel bad because you're beautiful.
Stop it!
She doesn't like it. All right. Doesn't want to hear the truth. All right. Moving on. Ninetales. Thinks being around and if you're gonna stay around, you have to tell Hans, right? You have to compliment him on his hair, on his okay muscles, and his tank top, right? I mean, he's not kill level built. I'm just saying, but
not. Say lip one more time.
Oh, I was gonna skip because I have nothing good to say to you about Hans. Well, Hans, you don't need to tell me that you're a sexy hunk, so we're just gonna get through that. Yeah, just a dirty lib, and I'm a real leftist, so you know, I know you want to win, and I know you're gonna get rid of me because you're smart. So let's do this. You already got like, if you keep Wick on and Ugly Pie, you guys will all seem like the most base leftists in the room with Mark here still. I think that's your play, man. That's your play. Everyone will love you at that point. I'll even watch.
Okay. All right. Next we have Wick. You've been surviving, holding on by your fingertips, basically, right?
Can he do it? Can he pull out the upset one more time, one last time? And Hans, here's my pitch to you. It's a final battle. The chips are down. You may be on the top now, but Mark has a solid foundation. I will pull votes away from him. I am closer to him in a lot of issues than I am to you. People will be pulled away from him to me. I will split his vote. Join me. Together we can become masters of the panel. This is your best move. This is the bold move. This is the right move. You already agree with me. You like me on a personal level. You love my beard. Choose me. Choose Wick. Choose Dick.
Did you say choose Dick?
Wick. Choose Wick. Wick. I know. I did not. I did not say choose Dick.
Wick.
I did not. In no uncertain terms did I say.
Someone make a clip of that. Play back the pod. Okay? Choose Dick. All right, that's
choose Dick.
It works.
With a
works,
W.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna be the opening stinger for when Eagle edits this. The first thing everyone sees for the video.
Choose Dick. Like.
So, all right. Hans, handsome bastard. Go ahead. Send me a AI name. Don't say it. Send it to me. Hans, unlike the rest of you, is fine with breaking people's dreams over his knees, right? Just like cracking that back of your fantasies of being a stream queen. He has no problem doing that. So he revels in this.
I must break you.
So, waiting for Hans to actually do that.
Oh, if you vote ugly, I will cry. And I'll do it off cam so you don't get the satisfaction of seeing it too.
Okay, Hans.
Okay,
this is,
I'll do that for you.
Oh, thank
I'll do that for
you.
the content.
Thank you, Hexors, for being so kind as to make that clip. We're gonna have to review that clip later on and see what the tape says, because I'm pretty sure he said you stick.
I'm gonna listen to it.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, by the way, Hans, I play Among Us a lot and I'm really good at it. So if you do if you do vote for me, if you don't vote for me, it's because I actually got to your head. So you should vote for me, so that way my manipulation tactics and reverse psychology doesn't work on you.
I'm uncomfy now. Like, I was like too many like moving parts for my brain. I was like, here's like my thought process. I'm like, do a leftism, do a pragmatism, and then be cute. But, like, every other line is just like over my head. I'm like Drax. It's like everything's too fast except I catch it. But like I don't mean it's all reflex. Like Mark says I'm quick. Yeah, that's right. But like that's because like I got a lot of empty space up here. I catch a lot.
Why do people even vote for you, dude? Holy shit.
Because I'm cute and I'm funny. But like
okay. Alright, so Hans had already voted, so there's no need to kiss his ass anymore.
yeah, why chat? Let everyone know why you vote for me, because I'm the best around. No one's ever gonna bring me down. I'm the first, the place.
Okay.
Gonna be the one.
Alright. Okay. Oh my god. Oh god. Chat, why are you doing this to me? For fuck's sakes. Anyway, look, I was just fucking saying, alright? Person who's leaving. Person who's out of here. Ugly. It's not you. It's definitely Wick. But Wick, I appreciate you being here.
Let me explain. Like, Wick, I really like you. I want to talk to you on stream at some point. Like, I feel like we have a very great nuanced conversation without a bunch of people calling me a dirty lib. But I've been on, but like, with one of the Uglies' first times, and I think she's doing a great job.
I get it.
Wick, how does it feel?
And nine bills. We've been on a couple of these, and you've never made it to the end, and I just want you to know that like there's nothing between me and that victory except you, and I want you to know that I'm still gonna run your ass over. So I want to take you with me so I can break you. So
I guess it would be a more solid victory, so fair enough.
True feminist ally, Rivy is correct in the chat. Yes, I fucking love my ladies, and I love beating their asses in debates.
Oh, all right. Well, that's a weird sentence. All right, great.
All right.
So,
I've enjoyed
Unless
this.
it's what you're into.
Wick.
I've enjoyed this. I understand why you didn't choose me, because I would have come out in the end for the total victory. So it's a pragmatic choice. I do get that. I do understand the fear level when it comes to me. I understand. But if you guys have enjoyed my takes as much as I've enjoyed giving the takes, please give me a follow at twitch.tv/deathofcertainty. I am a very new streamer. I have just kind of entered the Twitch world last month or so. So I've been enjoying this panel, and I understand I will accept my defeat graciously. You will all rue the day. Rue it. You will rue it, I say, that you have voted me off. But I will come back stronger than ever.
Everyone, please check out Death of Certainty, who's been so kind us to join us and really providing great content. Check them out. Okay, so this is the final countdown. We are going into our final round with these individuals here.
I did not say I like hitting women. I said I like beating them in debates. You're taking my words out of context. Don't you fucking climp chimp me. This is some bullshit right now. You're trying to poison the well.
Oh boy. All right. So, all right. With these, the final four.
I love ladies here. And Mark. Mark's okay. But my gal pals. I love girls' night.
Refuse to. I don't know if you're bi. You didn't choose Dick. We have a chance.
I did choose Dick. I picked him. That's why he's gone.
Okay.
I picked Dick.
All right. Well, so moving on to our final question. And we'll have 15 minutes on the clock. Topic. Final topic. Should world leaders be forced to retire at a certain age? So should we have a maximum age for world leaders? Should it be like maybe 75 or something, right? decide that you old farts don't deserve to be on the throne anymore and toss their asses off? Or should we say that your experience or something fucking matters and you should stay? You know where I'm on this, and you should stay for, until you die on the throne. All right, 15 minutes left on the clock, please.
Well, I'm for a full-blown meritocracy, but there would also be term limits. So I could only see this being applicable in places without term limits. Otherwise, like, let them run as freaking, like, if they're twice as old as Trump, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with the term limits thing. I think we need that badly in this country. As far as other countries, a certain age, I think that should correlate with their mental capacity. It's kind of like saying, well, should we take away driver's licenses from somebody because they're 75 years old, but we're finding ourselves that 20-year-olds are even worse drivers than some 70. So I think that if you're going to use age as a factor, I think it cannot be the only determining factor of someone's ability to lead. Leadership doesn't come from age. It comes from your mentality and your ability to assess situations and make correct decisions in the best interest of your people. So no, I don't believe age should be a factor, but it should be how mentally stable and cognitive they are.
I think I'm like first time of the night. I'm probably gonna like agree with Mark to like a degree. Where it's like I think ageism, like in this, like age is like the wrong metric by which to like potentially disqualify people from holding office, right? Because most of the time when someone says like, oh, like we need to stop someone because they're too old, it's because like, oh, like this cognitive decline or like da 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 da, right? It's not because they're specifically old, because there's some old people that are sharp as tech, right? Like everyone in chat, I know you're probably a hypocrite otherwise. Like Bernie's old as fuck. He's older than Biden, right? And like, I don't want him to be disqualified because I fucking love me some Bernard Sanders. So unless his brain's melting, then I don't see a problem with anyone like of any age, regardless of age, like, holding it. Like, but there's the other factors that age can be related to, but not necessarily like the only reason. So I don't want to disqualify people because of some arbitrary characteristics. That's like saying like, oh, someone can't be too tall because like they might have like more blood issues and like that they can't stand as long for speeches, so now they can't be president. And it's
Bernie is so old, just so the chat knows. He's so old, he's literally not even a boomer. He's part of the silent generation.
That's why he's based, because boomers suck, but Bernard is fucking killing it. Silent OGs. There we go.
I think you want to say something previously ugly? Pie?
I was agreeing, like it sounds like there's a lot of agreement here, that it should not be, that these barriers should not be based upon age, but upon mental status and cognitive ability. That's really when it comes into play about their ability to do their job.
Okay, I guess I'll disagree with all of you again. It's because
debating prime secret, like new challenger is approaching. I hear the Final Destination music playing.
I think you guys. So the problem with simply saying, "Well, with cognitive ability," well, first of all, how do you judge that, right? How do you judge that a person has now gone over the hill, right? And that that they don't have the same abilities before. Because one thing, it could be slight, right? It could be hard to diagnose exactly when this decline is happening or if this decline is happening. Sometimes it's quite dramatic, and other times it's not, right? But that doesn't mean that you have a person who is impaired, mentally impaired, who is now making decisions for the country. I mean, look, we've had Donald Trump, but do you want to do that again? So I think that, and you can see, and okay, so there's two things. One is that you might not be able to tell, and then two, even if you can tell, doesn't mean you can actually get them off if you're relying on saying, oh yes, this person is a problem, right? Because that takes an active, like a proactive step. We have Dianne Feinstein, right? Who is the senator from California. It has apparently been an open secret within Congress that, oh yeah, her mind is long gone, right? That she's experiencing some mental decline. I mean, I don't want to joke about that. It's actually quite sad. But that she is actually experiencing severe mental decline. Her staff has been helping her, well, I guess, cover up and just like, keep her in the game. But not to the point that other senators weren't aware of the issue until it came up like very obviously publicly during a meeting, like a conference thing, right?
It was the Amy Coney Barrett hearing, because she was like the head for that, and she like just did like an absolutely atrocious job in terms of questioning it, and that's when
she started repeating herself. She didn't realize she had said a question just before, and she just repeated herself, and then that's when this all came out. And so in that environment, if you say, oh well, of course we'll just get rid of them when they're having these issues, well, will that actually happen? If they're powerful, if they're entrenched, does that mean they will actually leave? That people will take the active step of tossing away a friend who is now sick and in trouble that they might have compassion with. Instead, if you just make it a hard rule, saying at this age, 75, time to go, and you're done.
Nah, I can't agree with that because again, let's use Brett Favre as an example. He played football until he was what, 48 years old, where everyone else, the prime years for football players in their early 20s to maybe 30 to 32 is their prime years. But there's exceptions to the rule. I can agree to that. But we can't just use age as a determining factor when your mind is what you use to lead a country. Right? We had a president who was in a wheelchair, so we start discriminating because he couldn't walk? No. I believe that your mental health plays the biggest and the most important role, and of course your ethics and your morals to be a leader. And if you're 80, 90, 300 years old, I don't care if it's Yoda, if she's 5,000 years old, he still led the Jedi Order, being the oldest thing in the damn world over there.
Okay,
so as long as your mind is
okay, so this gives me some questions.
I have to say this. Yoda was 900 years old. Please get it right. All right, moving on. So go ahead. Nice.
Blown the fuck out again. Check, sir. Like,
the Ninetales.
So this gives me some questions. For like starters, let's say we have a president who suddenly changes their ethics. How do we it's really hard to detect Alzheimer's in some people, and it can be a very long drawn thing. How do we detect this, or how do we attribute this change in ethics that they might have, or this deterioration of ethics, not to some greater ethical framework this person has realized that we cannot relate to, but to mental health?
I would say that we have a responsibility, as public servants, as a society. In the case again, I don't have the end word on this, right? It was just responding to something Prime said. If it can be proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that Senator Feinstein is declining and it's impeding her ability to do her job, then at some point, yes, her staff should intervene and we say, oh, we need someone to replace you because you're not able to fit the outcome of your job. There's multiple jobs in our society where we say, hey, if you don't fit these parameters, you're not allowed to do it, right? And you can have a conversation about those parameters. But in the case where your entire job is your mental faculties, I think them being there is kind of important, right? I don't think it's if someone say again, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, someone say a vegetable, right? I don't think they're qualified to exist and say be president of the United States, right? I think that it necessitates them having some level of capacity, so when we're talking about that, right? I understand the idea to say preemptively, we don't want to deal with this, so let's try and avoid the issue by taking the most common age group or the most common time when people start declining, and we'll deal with that. But I would just say we have massive resources to determine how well someone's doing. We can do constant checks about how well they're doing. I think that's a way of not infringing upon anyone's rights and allowing them to serve in whatever capacity they have. Because personally, I think sunsetting a little bit and being a little decline is less damaging to society than being a fascist, right? I would definitely say being a fascist is something akin to a serious mental issue, and I don't think that they should deserve to be in office because I think they don't have the facility.
But that's a weird thing to juxtapose with one another, right? That's not the choice between fascism or someone with who's mentally declining. And then on the other side, right? You specifically said, oh, their staff should step in. Oh, someone should replace you. Well, their staff is reliant on this person for a paycheck, right? Because a new senator will have a new staff. Whoever helped win them the campaign, those will be the people there. So the staff has every reason to help hide this because that's their paycheck, right? And that's how they have access to the halls of power, literally. So why would they do that? So yeah, I disagree again. And so in the case with Feinstein, Chuck Schumer, he had known, right? He had apparently, and if I remember the story correctly, he had talked to her about it might be time for you to go, and then she forgot it, and he had to do it again. So yeah, this is the thing. But go ahead, Ugly Pie, and then Ninetales.
Yeah. So this is really coming down to a person's ability to do their job. Obviously, in this case, your cognitive faculties are incredibly important when you're making such, massive decisions that affect so many people. There are occupations within institutions that have policies in place that allow other members of the institution to check a member, to be able to bring them forward and check their ability to continue their job, that their ability to perform their job. I'm thinking specifically about physicians, like the College of Physicians, that if a physician is shown is expected or shown to have done something against the code of ethics or something that has harmed a person, they are brought before the I know it sounds weird, but it's brought before the College of Physicians, and these are the people who decide whether that doctor can keep their license or not. Obviously, that would translate completely differently into the realm of politics, but those kinds of checks can be in place so that you can look at these people's behavior and be like, is this person still suitable for their job?
Absolutely.
And I also wanted to add that, there are psych tests to determine someone's level of cognitive ability. Obviously, it's very difficult to determine when someone has Alzheimer's or when it's started to take enough of effect. The same goes for dementia. I've had several people in my life go through these and die from these things. There are gene types that you can track in people's genome to see that they are likely to get Alzheimer's, but that's
Right.
a whole nother bucket of ethical worms.
Yeah, for sure. And like when we can measure this, we should definitely do something. But when it's like, you got to remember, like, not every mental illness is simply they just lose their faculties. Sometimes they become different as a person, but to them, everything they're doing seems justified. So to them, they think everything to them makes sense, and maybe they might even be able to show that they still have the faculties that, in that one instance, they're just not thinking to use. So for me, like, if we're gonna do this, I do think we need to, like, it's not worth doing if we can't be efficient about it. And I don't think that this is a very efficient thing, just waiting for them to lose their mental faculties. And I do agree with what Prime said. Like, people are going to use their power. They're going to abuse their power indefinitely to keep that. Obviously, Feinstein is like huge on supporting the more corporate side of the Democratic Party. And that's like one of the things that keep her around. So I'm not optimistic, although I'm not saying it can't work.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And again, I like you said, I can't stress this enough. I would love term limits. That can solve a good percentage of the issue that has to deal with it, because maybe they don't have to get that old by the time they're done their terms, right? So if, like, say, Dianne Feinstein was term limited, she wouldn't have gotten to this point, right? Can we all agree to that? She wouldn't be a dinosaur in our Congress that's going nuts. Right.
I would say it kind of depends, right? Like when you get into politics, right? Like let's say like if I'm a spring chicken and I get into politics like at 30 and like I work my way up, like even if I like start like in state or local office, like and there's like I say like a specific term limit, I could probably finagle like going through like local branches and then state government into federal government. I could probably find ways to serve for decades, right? I don't think it's as simple as that. You could say
the term limit only applies to said position, not for the sector that you work in. So Feinstein could in fact retire from Congress and work on a federal level somewhere else on a lower scale.
So then I guess like another like question, right? Like I think this is like a really great place like to hammer in, right? Where we're talking about like these specific like issues that keep someone from being able to like serve in a given capacity, right? Ninetales brought up a really good point about like we need to be very specific about like say what is like a deal breaker in terms of like what is something that can like remove someone from office, right? I think it would be like remarkably stupid and ableist to say like, oh, if you have like any flavor of like mental disorder or anything like that, like you're like unable to serve. I think that's like really fucking dumb, right? If you can like solve that with like by medication, or if it's not like an issue for like your day-to-day life or like your day-to-day like like working like inside the halls of Congress, I don't think that's a problem, right? So we have to be very specific. I think, and there'll be like people more like much more intelligent than like all of us in terms of this field about quantifying like what things keep someone from being able to serve as a public like capacity. And we have like that like sheet, and then we do what Ugly Pie said earlier about having like a board of like trusted physicians or mental health professionals who could like constantly screen these people at least like like once or twice a year, like whatever like we decide on, and whether we can determine like using that predetermined thing that was like nonpartisan, saying okay, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a socialist, like all that sort of stuff. At some point, if you fail like these tests, then like suddenly you
what if the balance of power is is up for
What if
grabs.
government is corrupt? Like get a better government. I mean, like,
Right.
I'm just saying that, like, if it's like, oh, well, this is the age, and I can't go past this age, then it is what it is, right? Then there's no wiggle room. But once there is wiggle room, right, for everything's up for interpretation, then it's like, well, clearly there's discrimination against my Republican colleague, right? It was Trump's attack, right? No matter what the situation it might be, and I think they should stay, right? Like, oh, and what if we start doxing these doctors and saying, well, this person now they voted Democrat. How do I know? Balance of power is up for grabs. So
Okay, so we got to do what they did in the show Dinosaurs and just throw all old people into a tar pit.
that works. That
Oh,
works.
whoa, whoa.
Oh,
my
okay.
it's just it's like when we think about this, right?
So,
I don't. Sorry, go ahead.
We are done.
Oh
okay.
shit!
Yeah.
All right, that was great. Thank you.
So, all right. To my audience members, you will be voting. You're gonna be voting right now among these individuals. You're gonna be voting for.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, I cut out for a second there.
Oh, no problem. You'll be voting for the winner, the person who will be the Stream Queen. Vote for the Stream Queen here, the ultimate champion. There will be no more rounds. This just be the title of Stream Queen. So we're going to give these individuals a moment, right, to give a final case as to why they should be number one. Actually, they should rise above the top of all the other competitors. All right. Start with Hans, our former Stream Queen. Why should you be a Stream Queen once again?
Former, past, present, future, man, woman, camera, person, TV. You should definitely choose me because we all know the basis of the arguments came from these lips. And I will not stop. I will continue to be base. I will continue to be big and beautiful and buff and all of those things. And I will not stop. I know I'm the people's champion. I know I was picked by the masses. I know I've been held down by the corrupt establishment like PrimeCayes. He's talking about how these politicians will use their positions to maintain a power despite them like sunsetting or whatever. He's trying to keep me down with his power. He's an abject hypocrite. If you want to stick it to the man, if you want to stick it to the hypocritical system, you have no choice but to pick Hans.
Voting Hans is so passe.
Wow. Okay. All right. Oh. All of a sudden, this motherfucker's a rebel. All right. Okay.
It's like...
Next, we have Mark Murder. Mark, why should you be Stream Queen?
Stream Queen. Well, I think I made the most sense. I try to keep things simple. I did bring a little bit of comic relief, especially with that nice little STD skit, right? You guys love that one. I don't think I saw a bigger smile on Hans in the entire stream until I brought that up, like full team. But I just think I kept it real with everybody. These are just my positions that I really believe in. I'm not really too political. I just try to be a normal, everyday person that, has the concerns that everybody else does. So I would have to say, I think I should win just because I feel like I'm just like every little guy out there.
Okay, all right. Mark Murder.
Thank you.
Trying to be an underdog here, going for the underdog vote.
I mean, I am the only right, quote
He said
unquote.
his greatest accomplishment was making the champion laugh. I'm not sure why that's
I said that was my greatest accomplishment. I just said I made you smile.
Okay, all right. Mark Murder has peaked. All right, I'm glad we all witnessed it. No, thank you, Mark. Next, Ninetales, who's gotten so close in the past as to being Stream Queen, all right, and has done a good job fighting her way back to the top. Ninetales, why should you be Stream Queen?
Hey, chat. So we made it. Great job. I know I got a little depressed there because of some of the topic choices, but that's Prime's fault, not mine. So I guess like my only true like foe here is Hans. So all I'm going to say is you've been voting for Hans for a long time now. And don't you want to see that sweet, delicious moment where Hans made that mistake, where he voted on the person who would be his demise? Also, I'm streaming next week, so it'd be really great to be Stream Queen so I could pop into Prime's chat without even really having to watch and just spam links to my Twitch so I can abuse that power.
Wow. All right. I remember stream queen having that ability, but okay, great.
Oh, they do. They definitely
okay,
do.
all right, well then. Ugly Pie, you have been underestimated, right? Ninetales just said you're not even in the running, but Ugly, Pie, fuck, Pie, you have. You have made it this far on your own merits, right? Like Wick, I had to literally save, right? But you've made it here completely on your own merits, and you jumped in here last second, deciding to help out the channel. So thank you for that. Pie, tell the world why Ninetales is wrong, and why you have a damn good shot at being stream queen.
Well, I've already won. My mom is stoked. My boyfriend is stoked. I'm stoked. Wow, this is my fifth time, fifth time ever streaming. I came directly from Wick's stream, followed him here just to beat him. So I've already won.
Shit.
And so thank you for everyone who voted for me this far so I could get to this point. I'm the noobiest of noobs, and I had a great time talking to all of you. If I'd really appreciate if you voted me to the end. I am as underdog as it gets. I don't do this. It's pretty easy to tell, but I appreciate everyone who's been cheering on Ugly Pie. And I'm asking you in this local county pie competition to vote for the ugliest pie.
Oh boy. All right. So to the chat once again. I'm gonna put the link just momentarily. You're voting for the winner, right? Who among these individuals will win? That's who you're voting for. Choose what for whatever reason, right? Choose maybe Ninetales because they have been trying so hard to be number one. Choose Mark Murder because only right-leaning panelists, and we've never had a right-leaning panelist be number one yet, right? Choose Ugly, right? Because Ugly Pie, because they are a fresh new face, full of enthusiasm, and we love them. Or choose Hans because you hate puppies because you want evil to win because you hate if you hate rainbows, right? If you hate rainbows, then yes, choose Hans. So all right, off you go. The link is in chat. Please vote right now. We're gonna put 5 minutes on the clock. 5 minutes on the clock. Now is the time to vote for that individual, for the one you want to win. Vote right now. Don't vote later. Vote right now because this will be it. We're voting for the winner, the champion, right? Who will have bragging rights, and if it's going to be a lot of fucking bragging rights, anyway. So, how are you all feeling about your chances?
I mean, was there ever any doubt?
I just feel like my autism intensifying, and I feel like I should be doing all these things that Hans or Ugly would be doing to woo the crowd, but I don't think I just don't have it in me.
I'm sorry, I'm desperate for attention. If you can't tell.
I honestly just thought like you're like super engaged with everything that's going on.
I have a very nervous energy, as people like to put it.
Thank you.
Okay, Nacho, you just disqualified yourself. You know that, right?
Nacho.
Didn't mean that.
Hi for president.
Oh man.
Hi for president.
All conservatives don't look alike. Oh man.
Holy shit! I lost votes after I mixed that up.
Oh man. Everyone, yeah, link is in chat. Yeah. So again, how are you all feeling? Feeling nervous, feeling excited, feeling what?
I'm having a great time.
Yeah. Again, thank you to you Pi being so kind as to help us out and jump in. We've enjoyed having Pi on our open panels. She's been a lot of fun. So it's really kind of you to
Hans.
Yeah, to come in, and we especially need someone. So it's really kind of you. Okay, great. So
okay, I was like, thanks for having me.
Okay.
I always feel like these panels can use a little bit of levity sometimes. some jokes, some quips. That's what I love to do. And I am usually I get my social interaction by going to poetry slams and performing there and making my terrible jokes there. But those are all closed right now. So here I am.
Poetry slams. Very interesting, actually. All right. So you make like
I'm
comedic
ranked.
poems, or?
Some of them, yeah, I have done comedic poems. I was supposed to go to an international competition as the team captain of the first Canadian team that was going to it before the pandemic hit.
Oh.
Wah, wah. But before that, in the last national competition in Canada, I got ranked 13th. So moving up.
Nice.
Hey Hans, I have a question.
What's up?
How many VPNs you got working over there?
All of them.
All right. Good.
I mean, like, if Prime's gonna do it, I also I see him.
Everyone, now,
Choose the people's
now is the
champion.
time. Like,
Go
good
Cubs!
should win. Good should win. All right. So
Close.
let
We're
this
so close.
let's
No, let
let's
it be
have
evil.
a
All be
happy
bad.
ending. It
It
requires you at home
Chat, can you be bad with me?
to
Let's
vote.
be bad. Be so bad,
Oh.
chat. Like you gotta vote for evil. You can't let the establishment win. Prime's putting his hand on the scale.
I'm
He's
not. I'm not. I'm just
you
like
doing?
What you're
accurately.
doing right
I don't know what you're talking about. I just accurately describe the situation, right? I'm encouraging people to make a choice, right? The right choice. So anyway, which way? The link is in chat. We have just over a minute left in voting. Jump on
Come on,
in.
guys.
You
Get those votes in the mark.
Yeah, you got those. Get those votes in. A lot of people. 3 individuals here who have not won at all. Will they have a shot, or will Hans steal the crown once again? Steal the crown once again. So we will find out. We'll find out momentarily. But don't be upset if your person loses and you didn't vote. All right. So vote right now. Take a moment. It's free voting. So just jump in. The link is in chat. Hit up that voting. All right. Almost there. Oh, and also, I guess I'll take a moment to say that, of course, after this, we crown our winner. Votes. Sorry, the stream will not be ending. We'll start our open walk-on panel right afterwards. We'll still have more content for you, so no need to go away. We will have more content after that. So we're just gonna crown our winner, and we're seconds away. So if you haven't gotten that vote in, do it right now. Link is in chat.
Vote Mark.
All right.
Pie for president.
No.
Don't let the establishment take this away from you, my people, my friends, my comrades. We've been attacked. We've been bloody tonight. We've been called a dirty lib. We've been called all sorts of things. The House is against us. They are stacking the deck, and we will not let them. We will not let them take this away from us, from me, from you. This is about us. This is about what it means for the people to be the best. We can do this.
I know you see that, Prime.
Yeah, I do.
Oh
boy.
no.
Oh boy.
Fight to the death.
Oh boy. All right.
Okay, we have to settle this.
Okay.
We have to settle
All right.
this.
Hold on. All right.
Ooh, no. Yes.
Okay. All right. So. Okay. We have a winner.
We don't.
When we do.
We don't.
So yes, we do. Excuse me. We have a winner. So it's when I refresh. It's not when everyone else refreshes. It's I refresh. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, because then people just keep voting after the vote, Frank, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So that's what I said. Like, if you didn't get your votes in, then that's your fault, not my fault. You should have gotten them in sooner. Okay. So starting from the bottom. Ninetales, this is heartbreaking. Ninetales, you made it so far. Once again, Ninetales, why, Ninetales, have you not? Damn it, Ninetales, my heart breaks for you. Ninetales has been trying so hard. Ninetales will be stream king one day, not today, but one day. It's Ninetales. What do you have to say to the world? Nothing, apparently. Okay, great. She's so heartbroken. She is so heartbroken that she is now.
Am I still muted?
No, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Okay. I was unmuted when I thought I was muted. That's always fun. Yeah, so when I do start streaming and I come back, obviously Hans doesn't stand a chance. My only problem is that I can't literally raid into this once I start the Prime Royale. And then once I have that ingredient, I will rule. I will rule this panel. Other than that, my name is Ninetales. I have a Twitter to throw into chat, but Prime can also shout out me now because I will be streaming sometime next week. Yeah, check me out. I do leftist politics stuff, lots of debates, plan on making some video essays that are being written right now. And yeah, when I stream, I'm going to stream every morning, and I plan to do some news, do some weather, look at some headlines, specifically from like around the world, because I want to cover more worldwide headlines. But then we're going to play some games or watch some funny videos or something like that. Who knows? Probably going to be whatever the chat wants until I decide my own schedule. So hope you all get to check that out, and I look forward to seeing you. And subscribe to Prime because he's doing a good job.
Everyone, please.
Oh, congrats, Ugly.
What? Anyway, so Ninetales is doing a great job. So thank you to her, and the link is in chat. So please support please support her right there. All right, next from the bottom is Mark Murder, who did a really good job. Here. It's been so kind as to be here, and first time. So thank you, Mark Murder, for being around. What do you want to say to the chat?
It was my pleasure. I appreciate it a lot. The invite was great. Every panelist and as well as the moderator, everybody did very well. The chat was respectful. There was that crap that usually goes on, but I had a great time tonight. I hope to be back. I hope to get another invite, and maybe if some of you guys play some video games, you guys can reach out to me. I do play a myriad of games. Play Forza, World of Warcraft, Shell, stuff like that. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody for the votes, and hopefully I'll see you guys again.
Okay, thanks so much. All right, now we have two individuals here who have fought, for the title. Two individuals, and only one can be number one, right? So who is number two? Well, that'll be Hans.
That's bullshit.
What?
Pie.
I've been refreshing every
Ugly
second.
Pie.
There was never a moment when Ugly Pie passed me.
I can put
he's
the link.
fucking lying.
No, I put it. I can put it in.
Right now.
No, don't
I've
worry.
been ahead of her the entire time.
Hold on.
He has never passed.
Hold
Fine,
on.
fucking show us a screenshot. asshole.
No, look,
Where's
I
it
can
at?
show you my
Where's
screen.
it at?
I can show you my screen. I can actually show you my screen, and you can see.
Fucking shit,
Oh,
sir.
oh,
You
what are you
literally,
talking about?
you waited. I was ahead the entire
you
time.
weren't.
I'm still ahead.
No, you weren't.
Thank you,
Holy
my
crap.
pies,
Oh,
my
wow.
lovely pies.
Guys, Hans, I have proof. I literally have proof.
You're literally lying right now.
On.
Ugly Pie has 29 votes. I have 36, 38 now.
No. It's your late ass voters once again.
No.
Dude,
Prime is lying.
I will
chat.
show
He will
you.
not limit the logs.
Hold on.
He is fucking
Hold on.
bullshitting you. I won.
Sharing.
The
Show
count.
the receipt.
He is
Sharing my
cheating.
screen.
If you
Sharing
don't
my
think this was
screen.
establishment
Share
ringing, look at this.
Share
This is
screen.
straight bullshit.
Okay,
I'm gonna
hold on.
link this in chat.
We're doing
I'm gonna let
this.
everyone know. This is
Share.
again, Prime. Prime. It's okay.
Share
I know you don't
screen.
like me, but you can't
No.
stop me. And you're lying to the people. He's
Alright.
lying to the people
Okay.
right now.
Ooh, yeah.
So hold on. I've never done it on this thing before. I'm gonna try to share my screen.
Just share it to Twitter so to shame him. Share it to Twitter for ultimate
I mean,
shame.
like, you're sharing some bullshit. This is literally like fake news.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Hold on. Okay.
I was trying to do it.
Okay. Oh shit. Oh, there's
Oh,
that.
no, you gotta break it.
Oh god. Oh god. Hold on. There it is. Here it is. Ugly
That's
Pie.
a lie. You literally stopped it
It's
before
right
you said
here.
you stopped it. You literally screen capped the moment.
What?
This is the one moment where she's ahead
Hold
of me.
on.
This
The
is
moment
such
I
bullshit.
always said,
Chat,
this
he's
is such a
literally
bad
cheating.
luck.
They're literally lying right
What did
now.
I tell you? What did I
This is
say?
such
It's the
fucking
moment that
bullshit.
I
This
refresh.
is straight.
It's not.
He's photoshopping this.
How
This
did I
is trash.
Photoshop? It's in the.
He's fucking
It's
coming in
in-
here and he's
it's
saying,
in the
"Oh, well,
browser.
I found the
It's
one
in the
nanosecond
browser.
where
Thank
Hans
you.
wasn't
It's
crushing
literally
the
in the
competition."
fucking browser.
I
This
owe
is
it
some
all to you.
fucking
I owe it all
bullshit.
to my fans.
Ugly Pie did not win, and you know what, Prime? I get it. I'm like always gonna be discriminated on this panel because I am right. I am the true people's champion, and that's some fucking bullshit, and you know it, and everyone knows it.
Look, once again, your
No.
voting
You
after
stopped
the
the count.
buzzer.
I was
After-
refreshing
after
with
the buzzer.
you. You literally
After
chose the
buzzer.
moment where she
Holy
was ahead.
crap! It was after the buzzer. What are you talking about?
I got the
You
same
are
screen
doing
too.
some cheating
I got the
ass
same
shit.
screen too,
That's
actually.
some straight fucking bullshit, Prime.
I got the same
Count
screen
the
too.
vote.
Hans, you
Count
gotta
the
know. You gotta know
fucking
this is a
votes.
bad
Swallow
look.
it.
I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna
swallow
win
that
against you
pill,
next time
baby.
if you keep doing
No,
this.
this is an illegitimate victory. I get it. It's fine.
literally-
Prime couldn't beat me. He
Ninetales
couldn't bring
literally
anyone that could
spoiled
stop
it.
me. So he had to
Ninetales
fucking
literally
cheat.
spoiled
And I
it,
get
right?
it. It's fine. I'm
so
like,
'cause
I'm
Ninetales
mad
saw it too.
because we all know who's the real fucking winner. Oh wow.
Well,
Ugly Pie. Is
okay.
it good to be the
All right,
establishment like water carrier? Is that what this is?
Oh, shit.
You're like, oh man, like Daddy
This
Prime
poor
got it for
baby.
me. I
Holy
feel so
crap.
happy. I can tell my
One
mom.
second. Hold on. We're gonna do something. We're gonna blow up a face, right? We're gonna blow up this face. Oh shit! If I can actually get it to work. Holy crap! It's like my screen is going crazy here. I'm trying to blow up at least. Hold on. There it is. There it goes. All right, great.
Literal bullshit. I'm telling everybody.
All right, there it is. All right, that's your stream queen, right?
No,
pay
my name's
attention
right.
to
I'm
no
Hans,
one
I'm
else.
right here.
You don't need them on the screen. All right, there we go. All right, our stream queen, take a bow. All right, this is your moment to
This
to
is some
shine.
bullshit.
All right, look, I apologize. You had some people who are sore losers, right?
I mean, like, I get it.
Who's
You fixed it for. That's fine, Prime.
Who's
It's fine.
bad?
I can
What's
feel
it
your
like?
pain.
I feel like it's like, is it okay having a hollow victory knowing that they
Ooh, it
rigged it
hurts
for
so
you?
bad.
Like,
Fans?
literally.
Ooh.
This
Who's
is the
fans?
textbook
Cry more.
definition of
So-
fucking
more.
rigging.
Cry more about it.
Okay,
Hans.
Prime, can I donate to mute Hans?
Yes, you can, please. I would love it. So yes,
Silence me. Silence me,
ug-
establishment.
ugly-
You get it.
ugly
You get it. You
pie.
couldn't beat me. You couldn't stop me. And now you're
Oh,
fucking lying.
sorry,
And now you're trying to
what was
stop
that?
me.
I can't hear you with all the weight of this giant crown on my head.
it is what
Like
it is.
Pie, I blew you out by almost double fucking digits. You didn't win shit, and we both know it. Like, it's fine.
Okay, look, it's fine. Look, so one day, our good friend, Hans, will manage to get fans. He will
Like, where's
manage
my
to get
championship
fans that can
speech?
vote on time. Who can
No,
vote
where's
on
my fuck-
time? If you can actually vote on
Where's
time
my
within
fucking-
5 minutes,
where
then your
is
guys can win. If you can't
no,
vote,
Prime, it's fine. Prime, I get it. Like, you know, I like you wanted to stop me. It's fine. Like, I get it. It's not interesting if it's just me dominating everybody else. I totally understand because that's what this was. This is like an obscene victory margin, huge dub, and you just couldn't handle it.
Anyway,
That's fine.
Anyway, all right. So
He hates to hear he's not the fan favorite anymore.
apparently
Sorry.
not.
I still
Don't
am.
worry.
Pie.
Sorry to say it, but Pie for president.
Okay.
The people have spoken.
Pie, take a moment, all right? Now that I actually have silenced them, take a moment to tell the world about yourself to take this victory lap.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for voting for me. It's really, the theatrics are all for show. All of the people I went against today were incredible debaters, incredibly knowledgeable. Hans, thank you for for having this fun little battle with me. Thanks for everyone who voted for me, even though I really don't think I was the best debater out of everybody, but I sincerely appreciate the underdog win. I don't have anything to shill for you. I haven't started up a stream or anything yet. I'm hoping to in the future. If you want to see that, I guess let me know in chat, but really just keep showing up to Prime shows. I'll be on there every now and then. If you see me in a panel, support me, say, hey, I love that ugly pie. That's all I can really say. Thank you for sticking around to watch me and voting for me.
And thank you. All right. Okay. So back to everyone else. Oh, there we go. Back to the rest. All right. So this has been great. To my audience, right? We've found the stream queen, but the content does not end here. We are moving on to our open walk-on panel right now. Right this moment, we're moving on, right? And so, anyone here who's not a celebrity is welcome to join us on that open walk-on panel. We'd be happy to have them all, right? So first I'll say thank you to thank you all for spending your time, your energy, your passion, definitely your passion, with my community. I know they appreciate it just as much as I do. Thank you all. All right, bye.